call them at 614-890-6700. That's Westerville Automotive.
Hi, I'm Mark McEwen, junior forward on your Otterbein basketball team, and you're listening to Cardinal Basketball on 97.5 WOBN in Westerville, Ohio, your source for Otterbein athletics.
Tuesday evenings from 6 to 8 p.m., join me, Shelby Snyder, for Shuffle Mode, only on WOBN 97.5. Shuffle Mode will provide the best music has to offer from the past, present, and any genre in between. Every week will be a new playlist with a new theme, only on WOBN 97.5 and streaming live anywhere in the world on WOBN.net.
At the U.S. Department of Education's Office of Federal Student Aid, we provide more than $150 billion each year in grants, loans, and work-study funds, making higher education possible for anyone. Federal Student Aid, proud sponsor of the American Mind. Learn more at studentaid.gov.
For the thousands of wounded warriors returning from battle, Wounded Warrior Project has developed the Warriors to Work program, a unique program that helps wounded warriors translate their military experience to the civilian workplace. The Warriors to Work program also works with companies to find the right job for the right warrior. Contact Wounded Warrior Project at findwwp.org. Welcome home the brave.
Welcome you back to the Reich Center in Westerville, Ohio. We're about 3 minutes away from tip-off between the 190th all-time meeting between the Otterbein Cardinals and the Capital Crusaders in basketball. And the fans continue to pour into the Reich, Elijah, but not nearly as big as a crowd as it was last year.
No, not even close, really. And, from the Otterbein standpoint, it's not even close to what they had last year.
And I'm not sure if it's a good thing or bad thing, but the Capital student section is in a different place than they were a season ago. Last year, they were across the way on the south side of the bleachers. This year, they're right in front of our radio broadcast booth, right next to the court, so very up close and personal with us.
Yeah, David, I'm thinking they moved them there because last year after the mini scuffle that went on, there was nothing really standing in between the two student sections. Now there's at least some chairs that they'd have to hop over to get over to the other student section. So, we'll see, but it should be a great environment still. It's still a lot of people still piling in. We still got a little bit till tip-off because they got senior night and everything that's going on with that as well.
And we thought it was loud last year. Add a band this year because Otterbein now has the pet band, which also moved. They used to be over top of the student section in the north stands. Now they've moved over on the east side of the arena, and we thought they'd be over top of the Capital fans, but since the Capital fans moved, they're kind of by themselves. But yeah, a little bit of a disappointing crowd compared to last year, but still, compared to most Division III games, it's still a pretty big crowd.
Yeah, it's definitely, and it's going to be a great rivalry. There's going to be a lot of fire, a lot of passion between these two teams. Just excited to get this game tipped off and underway.
Let's take a look at the Ohio Athletic Conference standings, and there's been a bit of a shakeup. Tied for first place in the conference now is Marietta and Mount Union. They are both tied in the league at 14-2 overall. In third place is John Carroll at 12-3. BW 9-6. Wilmington in fifth place at 7-8. Heidelberg owns the sixth place spot, 9-6 in league play. Ohio Northern at 7 at 5-10. East Capital Crusaders in eighth place. Muskingum in ninth, and Otterbein probably out of the tournament in dead last, 2-3 in the conference. All the other OAC games have gone final today. John Carroll won at home over Marietta, 86-71. So the Pioneers have now lost two in a row. Ohio Northern won in Ada over Muskingum, 80-69. BW also a winner at home, 91-70. And Mount Union beat Heidelberg in Alliance, 82-71. And as we said earlier, the Lady Cards fell in dramatic fashion earlier today, just before this game, 74-72, right at the buzzer as an Amariah Huck desperation shot fell up short. A great game there, and it looks like there was a lot of great games around the conference. And what's becoming of the Marietta Pioneers? Started out 22-0. They have now lost their past two games in a row.
Yeah, well, they played two tough games. They played the two toughest teams in the Ohio Athletic Conference, and I think that's a bigger win for John Carroll because, we'll see what the NCAA committee does if John Carroll starts to make a run here towards the end of the season. Even if they don't win the NCAA or the OAC tournament, we'll see if the committee lets them in.
And we will pause now and throw it down to Bob Kennedy, courtside, for the opening introductions here from the Reich Center.
remember PJ's memory with a moment of silence. Thank you. Now join Otterbein's Jeff Schockweiler and the Cardinal Pet Band for our national anthem.
Anthem here at the Reich Center, played by the Otterbein Pet Band under the direction of Michael Janczek, in a tribute to an Otterbein student who passed away earlier today tragically. It's time now for the starting lineups here for the Reich Center. First for the visitors from Bexley. They didn't have to travel far to play this game. Let's hear the starters.
First for the Capital Crusaders at the guard spots, it'll be as follows. It'll be number 11, A.J. Dixon, the junior guard, standing at 6'1", a graduate of Hilliard Bradley High School. Then it'll be Kurt Geese, the sophomore guard, standing at 5'10", from DeFlos, Ohio, and then it will be Charles English, number 31, the junior guard, standing at 6 foot from Cincinnati, Ohio. And at the forward spot, there'll be Ben Danhoff, the senior forward, standing at 6'5", from Clyde, Ohio. And then, of course, the big man inside, number 20, Andrew Bolka, the 6'5" senior from Xenia, Ohio.
Capital comes into this game 6-16 overall, 4-11 in league play. They're coached by Damon Goodwin in his 21st season patrolling the sideline for the Crusaders. He's won 7 OAC titles, 340 career wins versus 217 losses. Now for your hometown Otterbein Cardinals, the starting lineup's going to look a little bit different given all the injuries they've had in the past few weeks. In the backcourt for the Otterbein Cardinals, running the point guard position will be number 10, Darrell Miller III, freshman guard, 5'11", out of New Albany, and number 22, Chase Moyer, sophomore guard, 6'1", out of Dalton, Ohio. Up front for Otterbein, they'll have number 5, Brian McKenzie, sophomore forward, 6'2", out of Westlake, Ohio. Number 23, Grant Finner, sophomore forward, 6'5", out of Shelby, Ohio. And the only senior on the team who just got introduced during the touching little tribute they had on the court for him, number 33, Marshall Crum, senior forward, 6'5", out of Pepper Pike, Ohio, went to Orange High School. Otterbein comes into this game 3-19 overall, 2-13 in league play. It's been a disappointing season for the Cards, but a win here could really turn things around. They're coached by Todd Adrian in his 3rd season in Westerville. This is the 190th all-time meeting between Otterbein and Capital. The Crusaders hold a slim series advantage, 101-88. They first played way back in 1908. They played every single year since 1927 when the Crusaders joined the OAC. Otterbein going to be in their traditional home tan uniforms with the cardinal lettering, cardinal numbering, the word Otterbein across their chest. Capital rocking the purple uniforms today with the purple pants, purple tops, white lettering, gray numbering, and the word Capital across their chest. And the Capital student section, as we said, directly in front of us. So if there's any vulgarity picked up, our mistake. It's coming directly from the Capital fans situated right in front of us. And Capital brought a very nice student section to this game, Elijah, like they did last year. And as is tradition, they turned their back while Bob Kennedy reached the starting lineup for Otterbein. But they brought a bus service that brought fans from Bexley to Westerville, and they always travel very well for this game.
Yeah, they always do, and it should be a fun atmosphere as a lot of fans have started to pile in here at the Reich Center. Not nearly what it was last year, but definitely going to be a fun environment. We'll see how well this game goes.
It's going to be senior on senior for the opening tip-off. Number 33, Marshall Crum for the Otterbein Cardinals. Number 20, Andrew Bolker for Capital, as they exchange uneasy handshakes at midcourt. And the crowd getting into it early here at the Reich Center. Crum and Volka standing at the Otterbein logo at midcourt. Ball's in the air, it's underway, and it's controlled by Daryl Miller III near side. He has it tipped out by guys from behind. It goes into the Capital bench, and it's going to be, they're going to say it went off in the hands of Miller, so it's going to be Capital basketball. They'll inbound from their own bench, and they'll operate left to right as we view them.
Yeah, and, early, David, something that Otterbein can't have is turnovers. They have to be strong with the basketball, especially in a rivalry game like this.
Dixon will bring it down court for the Capital Crusaders. They get it top of the key now to English. Bounce passes it to Bolka in the key. Looks to cut towards the basket. Goes up with a left, and he bangs it in, and Capital's on the board first. Otterbein looking to go quickly now. Now Miller will slow things down as he runs the point guard position in the absence of Phyllis, who we're expecting to see substituted into this game, but not start. McKenzie has it near side wing where he's guarded by Dixon. Backs up his dribble towards center circle. Sends it over to Finner, high on the right. Otterbein trailing 2-0, 30 seconds into the game. Finner on the far side wing, looks to penetrate, gets into the low block to Crum. Crum's posting up on Danhoff. Bounces into the key, spinning, and a push-off is going to be called underneath the basket on Ben Danhoff.
And David, we're seeing early, they're not going to let the things go that they let go last year, which escalated into a bit of a scuffle. But right there, just a little bit of contact, but they're not going to let that stuff go in this game with Danhoff and Crum.
That'll be the first on Danhoff's team's first as well. Crum at the center of that little scuffle last year. I'm sure the referees were told before game to keep a close eye on that. Otterbein basketball left side of the floor. Miller has it high on the right. The former Eagle out of New Albany High School looks to penetrate towards the basket. Sends back out to Finner, far side wing as Finner cuts towards the hoop, into the key, goes up with the left, airballs it. Crum's there for the rebound. He's there for the putback, and Marshall puts Otterbein on the board. A minute into the ball game, tied up at 2. He was 5 for 5 against Wilmington, and he's off to a good start against his longtime rival tonight. Capital basketball, right side of the floor. Guys picks up his dribble, bounce passes to English near side wing. Guarded by McKenzie, back over to Guys, far side wing. Hands it off to Danhoff. Danhoff near side wing to Jackson. Jackson pump fakes a three-pointer, throws it into the low block to Danhoff. Turnaround jumper from the baseline. Off the mark, rebound, pulled down by Chase Moyer for Otterbein. Moyer will hand it off to Miller, who will bring it down the floor for the Tannin Cardinal.
And we're not seeing a lot of transition from either side. Both these teams content in playing in the half-court offense.
2-2, all knotted up with a minute 30 gone in the first half as McKenzie looks to cut towards the basket for Otterbein, goes up with a layup on the right side. No good, rebound pulled down by Guys, who looks to push down the floor. He looks to go into the lane, goes up with a shot, no basket, whistle, and a foul before the shot.
Yeah, they're going to say it was on the floor there, but Guys, he took that one strong to the hole, and just a good job of stepping in front. I believe it's going to be Chase Moyer. Yeah, it's going to be his first personal of the game, but good job of Chase Moyer of stepping in front, not allowing Guys to get straight to the basket.
Dixon, the junior from Hilliard Bradley, looks to inbound it. He bounces it to English in the far side corner, who'll hand it off to Balka, where he's guarded by Moyer. They get it back to English, who circles around the three-point arc, all tied up at 2 apiece. 18 minutes left to go in the first half. English still with it near side wing. Bounce pass into the low block to Balka. Posting up on Crum. Back out to the English at the top of the key. Back to Balka in the high post now. Still working against Crum. Gets it out to Guys near side wing. Three-pointers off on the way, off the mark. And Crum pulls down a tough rebound, and Marshall gets hit hard in the face, and he goes down. He's holding what looks like his eye, and he looked like he might have taken a poke to the eye from A.J. Dixon, just like he did in the Wilmington game, and Marshall is still down. This is not good for Otterbein.
Yeah, and we'll see. The training staff comes out. If they do, Marshall's have to come out of the game, but looks like he's just going to stay in this basketball game here. And Coach Adrian, he is livid on the sideline, thought that should have been a foul, and it did look like it because Marshall Crum grabbed that rebound, and then Capital just kind of stripped at his arm. So really surprised that they let that one go in this game.
It is Cardinal basketball. It went off the hands of Guys, they said. Marshall's holding his right eye and sort of squinting it. That was the same eye he injured in that Wilmington game. And Coach Adrian kept him on the bench after that.
And David, guess what? Mark McEwen already set the check in the basketball game.
Miller brings it across half court for Otterbein. Takes a jumper from the free throw line. Airballs it. Crum's there for the rebound. His putback's no good. McKenzie gets the rebound under the dish. Kicks it back out to Miller. Miller cuts towards the hoop. A whistle before his shot as we have a foul away from the basketball.
Yeah, and right there, Marshall Crum's going to check out of this game now as he missed that layup. But we'll see Mark McEwen if he's 100% with that ankle injury. Don't expect him to be 100% in this game.
First shot Marshall's missed in 7 tries. As Elijah said, Mark McEwen, the junior from Butler, Ohio, checks in the game and replaces Marshall. Otterbein basketball left side of the floor. McKenzie gets it to Miller near side wing. They pass it into the corner to Finner near side where he's guarded by Jackson. Finner looks to cut towards the basket, goes with a right hook shot in the lane, and he gets it to fall. And the Cardinals have their first lead, 4-2. 17-15 to go in the first half.
Big finish there by Grant Fenner. We saw 18 points out of him against Wilmington. He's looking for another big game here against his rival.
Jackson, top of the three-point arc, and he traveled. He shuffled his feet, working opposite of Miller, and he tried to go in a hurry too quickly, and that'll be the first turnover of the game on the Crusaders. Travel on A.J. Dixon.
Yeah, David, how about this? Otterbein really sitting down, playing well defensively. They're getting into the Capital guards, and that's something that I know last year that Capital's guards really kind of pushed Otterbein around, and Otterbein doing the exact opposite this year.
Near side wing, it's Moyer, and pass tipped out of bounds by Guys and goes into the Capital bench, and it will remain with the Cardinals on the left side of the floor. Otterbein won the first game this year, 77-72, a very close game, and this one looks like it's shaping up to be very similar. Otterbein on top 4-2 with 16:53 to go in the early goings of this game. Moyer has it near side wing, gets it to McEwen in the near side corner. A three-pointer on the way, rattles out, no good. Rebound pulled down by Andrew Polka for the Crusaders. He feeds it to Dixon, who brings it down the floor. Dixon, who was 4 of 7 from three-point range the last time he played Otterbein, sends it near side corner to Guys, gets it to Danhoff, long two on the way from the elbow, and he knocks it down, and we're knotted back up, 4 apiece, 16:25 to go in the first half.
Yeah, Mark McEwen, he missed that three-pointer, David, but that's a good look for him. He needs to keep shooting that.
Miller has it near center circle, looking to go off of a screen from McEwen, feeds it to McEwen, far side wing, hands it off behind him to McKenzie, looks to cut towards the basket, bounce passes it down low to Grant Finner in the low block, posting up, Finner goes up with a left hook, airballs it, ball's tipped around into the backcourt, and it's picked up by the Crusaders, and it's Dixon who's pushing it down the floor. Dixon looks to cut towards the basket on the right side of the baseline, underneath the hoop, sends it out to Guys, far side corner, 3 on the way, and he got leveled by Chase Moyer in the far side corner. The 3 is no good, but he's gonna go to the line, and he's gonna shoot 3 free throws as Chase Moyer just decked him.
Yeah, and Coach Adrian is complaining about the foul on the other end, and yeah, Grant Fenner got hit, but Grant Fenner also complained about the call as well, and it cost him an offensive rebound. If Grant Fenner wasn't complaining about the call, he probably would have got that offensive rebound. That's, again, not a good play by Fenner. Probably not the greatest shot selection either by Fenner.
First of 3 on the way for Kurt Guys, and he knocks it down. The best free throw shooter on the team coming into this game, 59 of 68, 86%, third best in the OAC, and he gives Capital a 5-4 lead, and you can make that 6-4 as he knocks down the second of 3. And here comes Jake Phillips checking into the game for Otterbein, the team's leading scorer, last year's OAC Freshman of the Year, who missed the game in Wilmington on Wednesday with what we can only believe was concussion-like syndromes, and he's back into the game checking in on the high block. And Guys is 3 for 3 from the charity stripe, and Capital is up 7-4. That was the second of the game on Moyer, that foul, team second as well. Inbound pass goes to Mark McEwen, Otterbein operating right to left as we view them in the tan uniforms, Capital in the gray uniforms. As Phyllis is running the point guard position now for the Tannin Cardinal. Brings it across half court, passes near side wing to McKenzie. McKenzie backs it up towards half court, sends it over to Miller, far side wing, where he's guarded by Jackson. Miller off of a screen from McEwen. They feed it back over to McEwen, who looks to cut towards the basket. In the low block on the right side of the rim, goes into the key, fadeaway jumper. He airballed it, no good. Rebound by McKenzie, goes for the putback right of the rim, and he gets it. 7-6, Otterbein trails. 15:25 to go in the first half.
Yeah, great board there by Brian McKenzie, and Otterbein's really done a good job here early in this game of crashing the glass.
Dixon has it right point guarded by Miller, trying to lob it down low. He does so to Jackson, underneath of the basket, fires it back out to Guys near side wing, picks up his dribble to Danhoff, free throw line, and he'll send it back near center circle to A.J. Dixon. With just 12 on the shot clock now. Dixon looks to go off of a screen from Danhoff. Bounce passes to English, far side wing. English circling the three-point arc. Steps up to the free throw line, into the lane, goes up with the left, and he gets it to fall. And a whistle and a timeout on the floor. And
now we're going to have a delay of game warning here on, it's going to be a delay of game warning on English. As after he made that layup, he slapped that ball off the back padding.
So as Elijah explained nicely, a delay of game on English, but Capital is up 9-6. As you can hear the crowd really getting into it here at the Reich Center. Inbound pass goes to Grant Finner. A few more fans have spilled their way into the gym, which holds about 2,000, and a foul near half court as Miller was trying to bring it down the floor. And reaching in was number 11, A.J. Dixon. They're going to get him with the foul. It'll be his first, team's third. Reich Center holds about 2,500. It looks like almost all of them, with the exception of a few upper deck seats, are filled. Phyllis will inbound from the scorer's table next to the Otterbein bench. And he'll send it in to Miller, who will call out a play on the right side of the floor, moving right to left. Miller brings it across the center stripe, guarded there by Dixon. Over on the far side wing, gets it near center circle to McKenzie off of a screen from Grant Finner. McKenzie running down the left side of the lane, goes up with an awkward shot, no good. Finner gets the rebound, it's tipped around high into the air, goes out of bounds, and they're gonna say it went off of the hands of number 2, Terrell Jackson, so it's going to remain with Otterbein on the left side of the floor.
And Grant Fenner needed to shoot that little mid-range jumper in the lane. That was a take in which he just kind of took it into the body, and he probably should have just pulled up with that one.
Phyllis has it top of the key, sends it over far side corner to McEwen. Bounce passes it down low and right into the hands of Andrew Bolka, who will hand it off to A.J. Dixon, who brings it down the floor. Sends it over to Jackson, far side wing, three-pointer on the way, is off the side of the rim. Crashing the boards is Bolka. He comes down with a rebound and a tough layup putback on the right side. 11-6, Otterbein trails.
Otterbein missing their physical post in Matt Hughes and Marshall Crum. We'll see if Crum checks back in the game, and that's exactly what they're going to do.
Crum heads over to the scores table. Don't forget Clayton Schaefer as well, who's also out for this game. McKenzie picks up his dribble high on the right, bounce passes it far side wing to McEwen, sends it top of the key to Miller, into the near side corner to McKenzie, trying to go down low to Fenner. Instead, they go top of the key to McEwen, hands it off to Phyllis, three-pointer on the way, far side wing, Jake Phyllis, first shot is a long three-pointer from the wing. He knocks it down, and it's 11-9, Otterbein trails.
Great job by Jake Phyllis there, used the screen to perfection and just pulled up from right behind the screen. Good play by Jake Phyllis.
Jackson has it top of the key now where he's guarded by McKenzie. Sends it over far side wing now to A.J. Dixon, trying to find someone down low. Instead, he'll get it to Guys, far side corner. Passes back to Jackson, moves his dribble over far side wing. Jackson top of the key now, bounce passes to Guys on the right point. Trying to lob it down low to Jackson. He does so, and he goes up with a layup underneath the basket.
Yeah, and Grant Fenner's going to check out of this game, or maybe Mark McEwen now after he picks up his first personal foul of this basketball game, and the third team foul. But right now, they have no answer, Otterbein, for Andrew Bolka, and that's why Marshall Crum's coming back in this game. Right now, Otterbein just has no physicality down low.
Bolka's first of the two is on the way. It's good. Christian Meister, Marshall Crum going to check into the game for Otterbein, replace Fenner and McKenzie, and checking into the game for the Capital Crusaders, number 13, Adam Blake, and number 33, Daniel Aki. That's 12-9. Otterbein trails now after the first is good from Andrew Bolka, the senior out of Xenia, Ohio, shooting from the right line with 5 points already in this game. And you can make it 6 as the second of the free throws rattles in. 13-9, Otterbein trails. Inbound pass goes to McEwen. Otterbein going right to left as we view them here at the right center. Miller brings it across the chest of Carty. Tries to get out of tough pressure from Adam Blake. Gets it near side wing to Phyllis, who just knocked down a three-pointer his last time down the floor. Going off of a screen from Crum. Phyllis, three-pointer again from the same spot. It's off the crossbar, and it's rebounded by McKenzie, Meister rather, the far side wing. Sends it over to Miller. Far side wing, three-pointers on the way, no good. Andrew Bolka crashes the boards and gets the rebound for the Crusaders. He'll get it to Blake, who bounce passes it down low into the low block. Spinning, going up with a right hook is no good. English gets the rebound. He's stripped from behind by Phyllis, who looks to push down the floor quickly for Otterbein. Phyllis cuts towards the basket, goes up with a layup underneath the hoop, has it rejected away from behind, and Bolka pulls down the rebound for Otterbein. Sends it over to Blake on the far side wing, who calls out a play now. Gets it to English, right point, guarded by Phyllis. Sends it back over to Blake, where he's guarded by Miller on the left point. Otterbein trailing 13-9 with 12-17 to go in the first half. Jackson passes back top of the key to Blake, guarded by Miller. Circles around the three-point arc. Gets it over to Jackson, far side wing. Shot clock down to 10. Lobs into the low block to Bolka. Faces the basket, working against Marshall. Has it intercepted away in the far side corner by Phyllis. Phyllis looking to push it down the floor, and a whistle and a foul on the floor as Phyllis hits the deck hard. He pops right back up, though, and they're going to get Daniel Aki for the foul.
Yeah, it's a good play there by Jake Phyllis, though. We've seen him do that so many times. David has just taken coast to coast, and he's so quick that all Daniel Aki could do was just stand in front of him and play linebacker there and take him down to stop Jake Phyllis from scoring that bucket. But Jake Phyllis had some meaningful minutes in this game as he comes out. 2
more substitutions as Phyllis and Miller come out, and they will be replaced by Moyer and Ben Umpleby, making his first appearance today. First foul of the game on Aki, team's 4th. Inbound pass goes to Moyer, far side wing, guarded by Blake. Lobs it down low to Marshall Crum. Crum posting up on Bolka. Still holding the ball in the low block, being double team. Pump fakes, goes up with it, and he's fouled. And Marshall Crum will go to the charity stripe for a chance to shoot 2. They're going to get Andrew Bolka for the foul, and clear as day, he hacked him.
Yeah, and I like the way Marshall Crum is being aggressive. Even has guys coming down to help on him. The help came too late because Marshall Crum has that spin move, and he really is just so strong, and he's using his strength against Andrew Bolka, who, let me tell you, he's a pretty strong guy as well, and Marshall really winning that battle, and a good thing Coach Adrian decided to put him back in the game because he's been the really only physical post so far in this basketball game for Otterbein.
First of the game on Bolka as Marshall. It's the first one fly, and he knocks it down. Marshall has really struggled from the charity stripe this year, coming in this game 53%, but he knocks down the first, and we're going to see substitutions for the Crusaders as A.J. Dixon checks back in the game, as does Ben Danhoff. Otterbein trails by 3. Marshall Crum, the only senior on this team, playing in the right center for the final time, playing capital for the final time, shooting from the left line. On the way, and it's off the front of the rim, no good. Rebound pulled down by Oki. He'll hand it off to Jackson, who brings it down the floor. Dixon. Dixon, pull-up three-pointer, near side wing. Nothing but net for A.J. Dixon as he buries it. 16-10, Otterbein trails now after the 3 from A.J. Dixon. 11:35 to go in the first half. Otterbein needs a field goal here as Meister brings it down the floor, high on the right. Being bothered by Terrell Jackson. Top of the key now, hands it off to Moyer, near side wing, going off of a screen from Marshall Crum. Sends it near side wing. Tries to get it down low to Marshall Crum. He does so. Marshall underneath the basket, pivoting, kicks it out. McEwen, top of the 3, bounce passes it near side wing. Three-pointer on the way from Meister's, no good. Rebound underneath the basket by Umpleby, and he gets the putback on the right side of the rim. What a job from Ben Umpleby to get that.
David, how about again? The presence to crash the glass by Otterbein right now is very, very high, and they've done a great job of it here in the first half. Have to continue that against this big physical capital team.
Oki has it near side wing, gets it to Danoff. 2 on the way from the elbows, off the crossbar, and McEwen gets the rebound all by himself down low. Otterbein trails by 4, 16-12 with 10:44 to go in the first half. Meister sends it to Moyer near side wing, trying to go down low to Crum. They do so. Crum in the low block. He's double teamed, trying to post up. Still in the low block, holding his dribble, gets it out to Moyer, top of the key, sends it over to Umpleby, far side wing. Bounce passes it into the right block to McEwen, has it tipped away from behind. Meister picks it up at the free throw line, sends it back out with 10 seconds left on the shot clock to Moyer, who backs his dribble up towards center circle. Off of a screen from McEwen. Kicks it out to McEwen, NBA range, three-pointers on the way. Mark McEwen buries it.
That is a huge shot by Mark McEwen. David, I said earlier, if he had the open look, that was a good shot for him. And right there, he just buried the open look from NBA range. Mark McEwen, he's got some range for a big guy.
16-15, Otterbein trails just by 1. Halfway through the first half of this ball game. Capital basketball, right side of the floor. Terrell Jackson has it. Bounce passes it to English, near side wing. Back out to Jackson, top of the key. Looks to cut towards the basket. Kicks it out to Oki. Pump fakes a three-pointer. Steps inside the arc. Lets a long two-pointer fly from about 13 feet out, and he knocks it down with a hand in his face. 18-15. Otterbein trails with 9:40 to go in the first half.
Great job by Oki on that pump fake right there. Got Mark McEwen to jump in the air and then was able to hit the jumper.
Christian Meister brings it down the floor. He looks to cut towards the basket. Meister going up with a shot, but they're going to call a foul on the floor before he can get his shot to fall. It didn't go for the record, but a foul on the floor. Let's see who they get it on. As still have not put it up on the scoreboard. It's going to go on Daniel Oki. That'll be his second and team 6th of the half. So one more, and Otterbein will be shooting 1-1. Substitutions now for the Crusaders as Kurt Guys will check in the game, as will number 20, Andrew Bolka.
Yeah, and expect Otterbein to go right at Andrew Bolka as he's got 1 foul and hoping to pick up his 2nd foul.
Moyer looking to inbound left baseline, does so quickly with a no-look pass to Umpleby in the low block. Now he's being pressured as he dribbles out of some defensive pressure, lobs it over to the top of the center circle to McEwen, who hands it off far side wing to Moyer. Pump fakes a three-pointer, going off of a screen from McEwen, unleashes a long two-pointer from the far side wing. It's no good, but a whistle and a foul underneath on number 32, Ben Danhoff.
Yeah, and that's a good call there by the official. Used that forearm on Marshall Crum, who had inside position. David, I mentioned boxing out, how big of a key it was going to be. And right now, Otterbein in the offensive glass is boxing out. And Marshall Crum right there, the reason that foul was picked up was because Marshall Crum boxed out on the glass. And now he's got Ben Danhoff with 2 fouls.
Danhoff second, team's 7th. So Marshall Crum will go to the line, and he will shoot 1-1. Crum 1 for 2 so far in this game from the charity stripe. 3 points on the afternoon for Marshall. Shooting from the left line. Marshall eyes it up, shooting right into the student section in the north stands, and he makes the first. Not only is he shooting into the student section, he's shooting into a replica of himself. As the student section has a big cardboard cutout of Marshall Crum head. So
I'm glad they brought that back. They didn't have it last year, but they had it 2 years ago, and I'm glad they brought that back for this game.
Looking right at himself, shooting these free throws. Crum with 4 points in the game. Second one on the way, and he knocks down the pair. That's clutch for Marshall, who's really struggled from the charity stripe this year. He knocks down the pair, and it's a 1-point ball game yet again, 18-17. Marshall's going to head to the bench and get a sea of high fives as he will be replaced on the floor by Grant Fenner.
And if you're Capital, this is where you go at Grant Fenner with Andrew Bolka. He's had success when Fenner's been on him. We'll see if Fenner can stop him here.
English will send it to the far side wing to Blake. Bounce passes it back to English, top of the key. Looks to run down the left side of the lane. Goes up with a shot right in front of the basket, and he gets it to fall right over top of Brian McKenzie. 2017. Otterbein trails now. Their turn with the basketball with 8:50 to go in the first half. Phyllis, far side wing, will hand it off to Moyer, guarded by Dixon. Circles around the three-point arc, gets it to McKenzie in the low block, and a foul down low as a couple of players collide. McKenzie doesn't hit the deck, but number 15, Kurt Guys, does, and they're going to get him for the foul as McKenzie was cutting towards the basket.
Yeah, and that's an interesting call because Guys just kind of ripped that ball right out of Brian McKenzie's hand, but here's a place that Brian McKenzie has been so good from, and he does a great job of getting to the charity stripe, so this is a good thing for Otterbein that Brian McKenzie's there.
55 of 70 from the charity stripe this year, most of all Otterbein players, but he misses the first of the 1-and-1. Capital gets the rebound, and they push it down the floor on the right side now. A.J. Dixon has it on the far side wing, guarded by Umpleby, lobs it into the low block, and a whistle and a foul, I believe, on Grant Finner as they're trying to feed it down low to Andrew Bolka, and Finner sort of pushed off.
Yeah, and that's that's a foul of Grant Fenner, just trying to be physical with Andrew Bolka, but he's a bigger, stronger guy, and we'll see if Grant Fenner can muscle with him.
Inbound pass goes to Bolka, kicks it out, top of the key, three-pointer on the way, he's off the crossbar. Finner pulls down the rebound. That was the first foul of the game on Finner, team's fourth. As Phyllis brings it across the charity stripe, off of a screen from Finner, bounce passes it into the near side corner to Moyer, who has it tipped away, and it's picked up by English, who will hand it off to Guys, who in turn, bounce passes it to A.J. Dixon, who brings it down the floor. Dixon cuts into the basket, kicks it out. Jumper on the way from the right baseline. Air ball, no good. Finner gets the rebound for Otterbein. As you hear the air ball chants come out from the Otterbein fans. Moyer, far side wing, now will hand it off to Jake Phyllis, guarded by Guys. Far side wing, off of a screen from Finner. Into the lane he goes up with a shot, has it rejected away from behind, but there for the rebound is Umpleby on the putback on the left side. Umpleby, a pair of clutch offensive rebounds and putbacks in the early goings for Otterbein, and they trail by just one, 20-19, with 7:40 to go in the first half of this ball game. Capital basketball on the right side of the floor now as Umpleby is going to get whistled for a foul as he reached in a little too close that time for A.J. Dixon.
Yeah, Ben Umpleby, though, David, how about this? A guy who really hasn't seen a ton of playing time down the stretch, and he's starting to play more also because of injuries, but, he was a guy that played well at the beginning of the year, but he's come in and done a great job, really filled that role of being a guy that can crash the glass along with Brian McKenzie in this basketball game, and it's really helped the Otterbein Cardinals here.
And Marshall Crum is going to check back into the game after a short spell on the bench. He'll replace Grant Finner. And checking into the game will be Josh Polner for the Crusaders. His first playing experience of the game, the junior, a local guy who went to Olentangy Liberty and originally went to Heidelberg before transferring into Capital. And also checking into the game will be Mark McEwen, who missed that game Wednesday in Wilmington with a right knee injury. He'll replace Umpleby. Inbound pass goes to Dixon, has it top of the key. Sends it to Jackson, near side wing, guarded by McKenzie. They get it to English at the top of the three-point arc. Pump fakes a three-pointer, gets it back near side wing. They send it back to Charles English, guarded there by Jake Phyllis. Game clock at 7:20, shot clock at 20 seconds. Jackson has it top of the key, sends his dribble over far side wing now, looking to off of a screen, picks up his dribble, being bothered by Miller. Now he gets out of it, passes it off to Polner, who hands it right back to Jackson, who looks to cut towards the basket, and a whistle and a foul as he drives down the right side of the lane before he can get his shot off. And they're going to get the foul on number 10 for Otterbein, Daryl Miller III, his first, team's sixth. The one more in Capital is in the bonus. Shooting or inbounding from the left baseline. They get it quickly to English. Long jumper on the way from the left baseline is no good from 10 feet out. Phillips gets the rebound. He falls down, and before he gets whistled for a travel, he pitches it back to Mark McEwen, who will send it over to Miller, who brings it across the time stripe. Picks up his dribble, near side corner, gets it out to McEwen, top of the key. Looking to go down low. Instead, he'll pick up his dribble, hands it off behind him to McKenzie, who sends it to Miller, near side corner. Three-pointer on the way, off the side of the rim. Crum gets the rebound, goes with the putback, and Marshall gets it on the right side. And Marshall is now up to 7 points in this ball game. Otterbein with their second lead of the game, 21-20.
Otterbein leads the rebounding battle right now, David, 17-8.
Timeout on the floor. Damon Goodwin calls it as he sees his team's lead evaporate here. 6:34 to go in the first half. Cannon Cardinal on top of the purple and white, 21-20.
David, 10 offensive rebounds for Otterbein in this basketball game. I don't think there's been many times that we've said they've had 10 in an entire game. So really, this is a very, very well-played basketball game so far by the Otterbein Cardinals, and it hasn't come mostly because of guard production. It's come because of guys who are stepping in and filling roles of players who have been injured or just guys that played well at the beginning of the year that are starting to play well yet again here towards the end of the season. So this is a team that really is starting to come together. They're starting to play as a team, and they're playing physical, and that's something you have to do to beat a Capital team that's got a guy like an Andrew Bolka that can be physical at any time.
These two teams separated by just 15 miles of Capital City territory, and they've been going at it for a long time in basketball ever since 1908. 190th time they've ever played, as it'll be Capital basketball on the right side of the floor. Inbound pass goes to Dixon after the timeout. Gets it to Bolka, far side wing. They send it to English, near side wing. Back out to Dixon. Three on the way with a hand in his face in front of the Otterbein bench is no good. McEwen gets a tough rebound in the near side corner. Otterbein with the basketball now up by 1 with 6:15 to go. Bounce passes it into the low block to Marshall Crum, who goes up with a layup on the left side, and Crum has got 9 points. What a pass that was from Miller on the far side wing as he rifled it down low. Capital basketball now. They trail by 3. Dixon has it near side wing. Hands it off back to the top of the key, sends it over to English, far side wing, pump fakes a three-pointer, gets it to Polner at the elbow, back to Jackson, top of the key as he looks to cut into the lane, goes up with a shot, it's no good. Marshall got a hand on it, I believe. Rebound tipped around, and it's picked up in the near side corner by Miller, and he'll send it back to Marshall Crum, who will hand it back off to Miller. What a job defensively from the Cardinals that time as Miller brings it across the center stripe. High on the right side of the floor, Miller looks to go towards the basket, but we have a whistle and a foul away from the hoop, or the ball, and they're going to get it on number 2, Terrell Jackson for the Crusaders, as I think
they're going to get it on Josh Polner, actually.
You're right.
He was being physical with Marshall Crum down low, and Crum, how about this, David? He's going to have the possibility to have 11 points here in the first half of action, and he has played very well up to this point, been very physical on the glass, and again, 19 rebounds for the Otterbein Cardinals here in this game.
Polner's first, team's 9th, so one more, and Otterbein's in the double bonus. Crum 3 for 4 from the charity stripe as he ties his shoe. Shooting from the left line, looking to get in double digits in scoring. That's the first one fly, and it's good. Marshall Crum, 4 for 5 from the charity stripe, 10 points in this game to go along with 4 rebounds. A guy who has struggled all year from the line, under 60%. Got benched for most of the season.
How about this on senior day?
Comes back in the game to replace an injured Matt Hughes, and he's played fantastic as he knocks down the 2. And Marshall Crum has 11 points in this game, and he is 5 of 6 from the charity stripe. Largest lead of the game for the Cardinals, 25-20 with 5.5 minutes to go in the first half. A.J. Dixon has it far side wing now working against McKenzie. He'll send it to Jackson, top of the key. Jackson bounce passes to English near side wing. They send it to Bolka in the low block. Posting up, that's Polner, goes up with a right hook, is no good. Bolka gets the rebound, and he gets the put back on the left side of the rim.
Yeah, it's a big bucket there for Capital and Andrew Bolka, because if they did not get a bucket on that possession, the tide could have quickly turned in the favor of the Otterbein Cardinals. So that's a big bucket if you're Capital, but if you're Otterbein, you got to respond here.
Bolka's got 8 points now, 25-22. Otterbein on top. Phyllis at the top of the key, off of a screen from Crum. Lets a three-pointer fly off the side of the rim. McKenzie tries to save it from going out of bounds, but his right foot was on the baseline as he tried to pitch it into the backcourt.
Yeah, it was a good hustle play, though, by Brian McKenzie. And David, even though he didn't get to that loose ball, the fact that Brian McKenzie was there first says a lot about what Otterbein is doing, both offensively and defensively. Getting to the loose balls, you have to do that if you want to win a basketball game like this.
Kurt Guys checks back into the game for Coach Damon Goodwin's bunch. They trail by 3 with 4:45 to go in the first half. They have it on the right side of the floor as English is being bothered top of the key by Phyllis. Gets it near side wing now to A.J. Dixon. Dixon working against McEwen. Top of the key, lets a three-pointer fly with a hand in his face, and he knocks it down. Miller was right on top of him, but doesn't matter for Dixon, who buries it. And we're tied back up at 25 apiece with 4:26 to go. Down low now, Marshall has it, posting up on Polner. Sends it out top of the key to McEwen. They go inside again to McKenzie. Looks to go with a backdoor cut to Marshall Crum, who goes with an up and under layup on the right side, and Crum has got 13 points in the game, and he gives Otterbein the lead again, 27-25.
The touch that he has right now, David, has been so impressive in this game, both on the glass as well as just putting it up around the rim. Marshall Crum with a lot of touch right now.
English, top of the key, tries to fire it down low, but we have a kickball on Jake Phillips, who stuck his right foot out there and tried to alter the pass down low, looking for Bolka.
Great job by Phyllis, though, because that was a wide open Andrew Bolka down low, so good job of kicking that basketball, even though Capital will maintain possession.
Dixon will inbound from the right baseline, trailing by 2, 27-25. Gets it in quickly to Guys, who pump fakes. Now he takes a jumper from the left baseline from 10 feet out. It's off the mark, and Phyllis gets the rebound. A little bit of hesitation that time from Guys in his shot. Phyllis has it at the top of the key, off of a screen from McEwen. Sends it over to Miller, far side wing. Back out to the top of the key now to Marshall Crum. Crum trying to bounce pass it down low, and it's into the hands of Polner, who will pitch it back. A turnover for the Cards, just their third of the game, surprisingly. And it'll be Jackson who brings it down the floor. A.J. Jackson has it on the right side wing in front of the Otterbein bench. Gets it to Guys, top of the key, working against McKenzie. Guys still holding his dribble there. Gets it near side wing to English. Bounce passes to Polner at the elbow, looking to go down low. And we have a whistle and a foul as they're trying to feed it to Bulka in the low block, working against Marshall Crum.
Not a good foul there by Marshall Crum. Should have just let that one play out. And he tried to reach around Andrew Bulka, but he probably should have just kept his hands off of Bulka and let him try and go to the basket, because Bulka really doesn't have much post moves. He doesn't really have a post presence that Marshall has inside, and he's a guy that'll get you the garbage points, but really that's a play Marshall Crum probably shouldn't have reached in there.
And Marshall's going to head to the bench and be replaced by Grant Fenner, as will Miller III, and Christian Meister will replace him. Bulka shooting from the right line. First of the 1-and-1s on the way, and it's good. That was the first of the game on Marshall. Team's 7th. Bulka so far in this game, 3 for 3 from the charity stripe. He's got 9 points to lead all Capital scorers. This one to tie it up. Shooting from the right line. Eyes it up, lets it fly, and nothing but net. And we're knotted back up, 27 all with 3:19 to go in a very exciting first half. As Phyllis brings it down the floor, before he does so, he takes a glance at the scoreboard to see how much time's he got left. Sends it over high on the right to McKenzie, into the corner to Meister, being guarded by Polner now. Dribbles that out to the far side wing. Gets it to Phyllis high on the left side of the floor. To the top of the key, sends it over to Meister, far side wing, going to let a three-pointer fly. Meister rattles in and out, no good. McKenzie gets the rebound on a tip from Finner, goes up with a putback, and he airballs it, no good. Rebound's pulled down by Polner, who will send it down the floor to English, who has a wide-open pass to the basket, and one, as he gets it to fall on the right side of the rim, and McEwen knocked him down, and will have a chance for a three-point play for the Crusaders. They take the lead 29-27.
Yeah,
not a smart foul for Mark McEwen.
Yeah, it's not a smart foul by Mark McEwen, and when Brian McKenzie went up in on that layup, he shouldn't have went for the contact, should have just went for the glass. I know he does a great job at drawing fouls, but right there, that's one that was a wide open layup if he hadn't tried to draw the contact there, and it's now a 4-point swing, really, even a 5 now as he knocks down the free throw.
English, the junior from Cincinnati St. Xavier High School, knocks it down, and a 3-point lead now for Capital, 30-27. English 4 points in the game, or excuse me, 6 points in the game now. 2:45 to go here from the Reich Center. What's been a very exciting first half. David Kinder along with Elijah Gonzalez here at 97.5 WOBN, bringing you all the action. Phyllis has it high on the right now for Otterbein. Sends it over to the far side wing to McKenzie, or excuse me, Meister hands it off to Moyer behind him as he circles around the three-point arc. Bounce passes it near side corner to Grant Fenner. Fenner being guarded there by Bulka as he looks to cut towards the basket. Into the key, goes up with a light jumper. It's no good. Can't get the right-handed hook shot to fall. Rebounds pulled down by Polner, who will hand it off to Dixon, who looks to cut towards the basket. A double team, goes up with a shot from 5 feet out. It's no good. Rebounds pulled down by Grant Fenner. Gets out of a double team, pushes it down the floor now to Meister. Meister looks to push towards the cylinder. Now he circles out around the three-point line. Hands it off on the far side wing to Jake Phyllis. Guarded there by Guys. Going off of a screen from Mark McEwen. Phyllis looks to cut towards the basket. Goes up with a layup in the lane on the left side, and Jake gets it to fall. And it's back to a 1-point ball game. Phyllis now with 5 points. 30-29 Otterbein trails. A minute 45 to go in the ball game as number 11, A.J. Dixon, brings it down the floor, hands it off to Guys, gets it top of the key now to English, where he's guarded by Moyer. Sends it right point now to Dixon, guarded by Meister, to the free throw line, to English, takes a running jumper in the lane, sits on the rim, and it falls. 32-29, Capital extends their lead. A minute 30 left here in the right center. Otterbein trying to get some momentum to take into the locker room as Phyllis brings it across center stripe. Phyllis will pass it off over to Meister, far side wing. Near side wing, now Moyer pump fakes a three-pointer. Into the key, they go to Fenner. Sends it over into the corner. Phyllis, three-pointer on the way, all by himself, and he knocks it down. And Phyllis got 8 points in this game now, and he's 2 for 2 from long range.
That was a huge shot by Jake Phyllis, and really, if his three-pointer gets going, watch out if you're the Capital Crusaders. When he shoots from the outside, Otterbein plays very well.
All tied up at 32 apiece. Guys has it at the top of the point now. Guarded by Jake Phyllis off of a screen from Polner. He looks to cut towards the basket. Fadeaway jumper from the left baseline, and he knocks it down with a hand in his face. And the Crusaders have a 34-32 lead. Otterbein turn with the basketball now. About a 5-second difference between shot and game clock. Game clock reached 37 seconds left as Phyllis brings it down the floor. Guarded by Guys. He does so slowly. top of the key, backs up his dribble towards center circle as he calls out a play, trying to burn some clock here. Far side wing, Jake gets it to Finner, top of the key. Finner running down the left side of the lane, has his shot rejected away by Polner from behind, goes out of bounds in the near side corner, and that will bring the Capital student section to their feet if they weren't already. A big-time rejection, that time from Josh Polner.
That's just a play where Grant Fenner didn't have the awareness of the help side defense, and he paid the price right there.
21 seconds to go in the first half, 14 on the shot clock. Inbound pass goes to Mark McEwen, who will hand it right back to the inbounder, Christian Meister. Gives it to Phyllis near center circle. Shot clock down to 5 now for Phyllis. Has to go quickly. Phyllis being bothered near side wing. Gets it to McEwen, top of the three-point arc. Lets a three-pointer fly with a hand in his face. It's no good. Rebound by Otterbein, tipped around, and it's into the hands of Dixon, who pushes down the floor. 1 second left. Three-pointer on the way, off the mark, no good. And the buzzer sounds, and the first half has come to an end, and it has lived up to the expectations. A very exciting first 20 minutes. 34-32. We're going to take a break. We'll take a timeout. When we come back, we'll discuss it at length. You're listening to Otterbein Basketball from the Otterbein Sports Radio Network, 97.5 WOBN. We'll be right back.
I thought I was too old.
I thought I was too young.
I didn't think I had what it takes.
How'd I find the time?
I went into a music store and tried some percussion.
Keyboard, guitar,
bass,
ukulele.
And before I knew it,
I could actually play a song.
why make excuses when you can make music?
Just play.
This message brought to you by the NAM Foundation.
Ever since our first sports broadcast in 1951, WOBN has been your first source for live Otterbein athletics. While radio has changed a lot since then, one thing remains the same, and that's WOBN keeps you up to date on Cardinal athletics like no other. With live broadcasts of football, basketball, baseball, soccer, and lacrosse, and weekly sports talk shows, nobody covers Cardinal athletics like your Cardinal radio station.
To the 10-5, touchdown, Otterbein!
97.5 WOBN, your source for Otterbein sports for 64 years.
This broadcast is copyright of WOBN 97.5 and may not be rebroadcasted, redistributed, or retransmitted without the express written consent of WOBN.
I'm Drew Brees, and being a dad means the world to me. And one of the most important things any parent can do is make sure their kids get active at least 60 minutes each day. Studies show that physical activity not only helps kids stay healthy, it can enhance important skills like concentration and problem solving, which can improve academic performance. This means physical activity can help your kids in the most important game of all, life. Learn more at fitness.gov.
Brought to you by HHS.
Be sure to log on to WOBN.net for a complete broadcast schedule of music, talk shows, and sports. That's WOBN.net.
Here comes the whistle. Strimbu lines it up. She shoots it. It's in! In the lower corner, Jillian Strimbu puts it in the back of the net. Piles at the 20, 15, 10, 5. Touchdown, Cardinals! Want to know more about Cardinal athletics? Tune in Mondays from 6 to 7 p.m. to the Cardinal Sports Wrap with me, Elijah Gonzalez. I'll break down all the Otterbein sports from the previous week and look forward to the matchups ahead. We'll have interviews from players and coaches as well, only here on WOBN 97.5 The Wild Card, your home for Otterbein athletics.
And we welcome you back to the Reich Center here in Westerville, Ohio. A very exciting first 20 minutes. We hope you enjoyed it as much as we have enjoyed bringing it to you. I'm David Kinder. Elijah Gonzalez off to my left. The Otterbein Cardinals trailing by just 2 at the halftime break, 34-32 to their longtime rival. You're not only listening to Cardinal basketball on 97.5 WOBN, but you're listening to the BMI halftime show. BMI Federal Credit Union, open to everyone who lives, works, worships, or attends school in Franklin, Licking, Fairfield, Madison Union, Delaware, or Morrow County. BMI Credit Union is federally insured by the National Credit Union Administration. Let's get you your halftime statistics, and pretty well matched. Otterbein shooting 12 of 25 from the field, 48%, 2 of 6 on three-point opportunities, a perfect 8 for 8 from the charity stripe. They have 12 rebounds in the game, 2 10 on the offensive side of things, and they've only turned the ball over 3 times. Now for the statistics for Capital, they're shooting 12 of 25 from the field, 2 of 6 from long range, 8 of 8 on free throw opportunities, turned it over just 3 times in this game. Looking at the individual statistics so far, leading the way in scoring at the halftime break for Capital, no surprise, Andrew Bolka. He's got 10 points, 3 for 3 from the field, 4 for 4 from the charity stripe, and leading the team in rebounds with 5 as well. A.J. Dixon is close behind him with 6 points, and Charles English also has 9 for the visiting Crusaders. For Otterbein, Marshall Crum has played a fantastic first half, 4 of 5 from the field, 5 of 6 from the charity stripe. He's got 13 points. Behind him is Jake Phillips, who has 8, including 2 3-pointers. And then with 4 for Otterbein is Umpleby. McEwen has 3, and Brian McKenzie also has 2. So Elijah, 34-32 at the halftime break right now, and they're going through the senior cheerleaders right now at midcourt. As we said, it is senior day, so the last time they will ever cheer here in the historic Reich Center. And as you're looking at these statistics, Elijah, what has to jump out to you most is 5 turnovers. That's not 5 turnovers for Otterbein or 5 turnovers for Capital. That's 5 turnovers combined. Last Wednesday in the loss to Wilmington, Otterbein had 15 at the halftime break, just 3 right now at the halftime break.
Yeah, and you know, David, it's partially coming from the fact that Otterbein really just has controlled the tempo. I mean, this is a game in which it's been in a half-court set the entire way, and there hasn't really been much transition either way. So, you know, that's a big thing for Otterbein, is really being able to control the tempo. They've done a great job with the full-court press that Capital has thrown their way. But how about the offensive rebounding? You know, we talked about it, and we talked about how rebounding was going to be a factor in this game. And for Otterbein, the fact that you're adding 13 offensive rebounds in the first half. We haven't even played a full 40 minutes, and they already have 13 offensive rebounds. I don't know about you, David, but I think that's got to be a season high in offensive rebounding. But, you know, when you're winning the rebound battle by 12 points, good things are good, or 12 rebounds, good things are going to happen. And how about the play of Marshall Crum? 13 points in the first half, a guy on senior day that's come out and really shown that he belongs on this floor, and he's done a great job of that. He's been very physical inside as well as on the defensive end with Andrew Bolka. So expect Marshall Crum to get the majority of the minutes here the rest of the way.
34-32 is our halftime score. Otterbein playing very effectively in the first half of this game, as is Capital. It's just as exciting as that first game in Bexley earlier this year. And as we said, a decent crowd here at the Reich. Not quite as big as last year's, but the student section in Adrian's Army filled to capacity. We thought that a lot of the lack of attendance probably due to the snow conditions we had earlier today. I know a lot of the major interstates were closed, but what a busy day it was on campus with the All-Ohio tournament and how well Otterbein fared in that. The ladies basketball game before that, they had the alumni game earlier today. Just a great day overall on campus for Otterbein athletics.
Yeah, it really was. It was, and the track team did very well in this game. So, you know, it was definitely a very good atmosphere here today for Otterbein.
And Ben Hamilton, I believe that is, pitcher for the Otterbein baseball team, just missed 3 layups in a
it's
halftime.
Actually Cade.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I believe so.
Looks like Ben from up here, but I do see Terrell Dorsey out there, another baseball player. It is Cade Calder, you're right. So a couple Otterbein baseball players out there, and he just missed 3 layups on the left side to win some sort of prize, I'm sure, here in a halftime contest. And we're going to see someone else get a chance to go for it, but it's 3 in a row.
Hey, and you know, he's hearing it from Adrian's Army. He's getting an earful from his teammates as well as Adrian's Army. So, you know, that's always fun to see, and it's always fun, you know, to see the crowd getting involved here at the game. And I think really it's been a good showing so far for Adrian's Army, and hopefully Coach Adrian's team can put together a victory for them.
And the question's been almost all year, Elijah, how is Otterbein going to respond in the second half of ball games? There's been so many games this year where Otterbein's really been in it in the first half, close games at the halftime break, and then the second half, they just get blown out. It's no contest. So how are they going to respond, and what's going to be the message in the locker room?
Well, you know, I mean, if you're Coach Adrian, shooting the basketball from the outside, you didn't shoot poor, but you didn't shoot well. I mean, Christian Meister is a guy that normally those 3-pointers that we saw him take, those are normally money shots for him. So you didn't shoot the basketball that great from the perimeter, but you're still in this basketball game because you're on the offensive glass. You're all over the glass. You need to continue to be on the glass. And David, really, a couple of more box outs, and Otterbein's got the lead. So I think that Coach Adrian is just reiterating, what you did in the first half, continue to do it. Your shots will fall, that will come. Mark McEwen, you look at him, he took his first shot, missed it, came back, hit the huge NBA three that put Otterbein back tied. So it's big for Otterbein if they just continue the momentum that they have, even though they're down by 2.
Going back to those offensive rebounds, a guy who has 2 rebounds at the halftime break, but they're huge ones coming off the bench. Ben Umpleby got 2 nice offensive rebounds and then followed through with nice offensive putbacks. He's only got 4 points at the halftime break, but they're huge 4 points.
Oh, the biggest 4 points of this game in all reality, because, you know, there's been a question of who's going to step in to fill the role of Matt Hughes, because I know Marshall's played very well, but at the same time, you have to look at it. Marshall's probably not going to give you the production on the boards that Matt Hughes did, giving you about 9 to 10 rebounds a game. So you're going to need extra help, and I think that Ben Umpleby has added that. He's added that on the glass along with Brian McKenzie as well as with Marshall. So this is a team that really is team rebounding, and that's what you need in this basketball game to win, especially against a team with a guy like Andrew Bolka, who at any moment can go for 14-plus rebounds in a game.
This is the BMI halftime show. Otterbein trailing by 2 at the halftime break, 34-32 in the 190th all-time meeting between the Otterbein Cardinals and the Capital Crusaders. About 7 minutes before we start our exciting second half of this basketball game. We'll take another commercial break. When we come back, though, we'll look around the conference, give you the scores in the OAC as well as the trivia question. You're listening to Cardinal Basketball on the Otterbein Sports Radio Network, 97.5 WOBN. We'll be right back after this.
Imagine what it would be like to live out of your car, or to be homeless and have no place to relax safe and sound. Habitat for Humanity provides affordable, safe housing for people in need. Habitat is a nonprofit organization constructing and rebuilding over 600,000 homes and serving over 3 million people worldwide. Habitat for Humanity thrives on volunteer labor and donations from people like you. Everybody should have a place to call home. For more information, call 1-800-HABITAT or log on to habitat.org.
Hey! Do you want a taste of some great tunes? Listen to the Money Man Morning Show. Morning Breath. Want to get to your first class on time? You'll be so on time. More on time than you've ever been before. And we've got genres. So many genres. So listen into WOBN 97.5, the best radio in the world. Go with the sure thing. Don't gamble with your radio. Money Man. Listen to the Money Man Morning Show. You'll be so glad. Hey! Money Man in the morning.
If your study time is also snack time, watch out. Snacks can contain huge amounts of fat that stays on your body longer after the treat is gone. If you want to look great when the winter clothes come off, make good food choices. Tame your sugar cravings with fruit, a small bowl of whole grain cereal, or even dill pickles. If it's salt you want, try popcorn, but skip the butter. Drink non-fat milk, yogurt, and swap the hamburger for a salad. And if you have to be inside anyway, you might as well take a trip to the gym.
Hi, sports fans. We remind you, if you're enjoying today's game on your car or truck radio, to buckle up day and night. It's not only the safe thing to do, it's also the law. Click it or ticket. What's holding you back?
My son Aiden has asthma. Secondhand smoke has triggered his asthma so badly, he ended up in the emergency room and spent multiple nights in intensive care. Now he's on a whole bunch of medications. My tip to you is, don't be shy about telling people not to smoke around your kids.
Half of U.S. kids are exposed to secondhand smoke. If you or someone you know wants help, call 1-800-QUIT-NOW. A message from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and CDC.
Hi, fans. This is your voice of the Otterbein Cardinals, Bob Kennedy, and you're listening to the voice of Otterbein Athletics, 97.5 WOBN, your home for Cardinal Athletics.
Welcome back to the Reich Center here in Westerville, Ohio, where the Battle of Columbus supremacy is really heating up. Otterbein trailing 34-32 at the halftime break. Both teams taking back to the floor for halftime shoot-around before we get set to go at it again. I'm David Kinder, Elijah Gonzalez. Off to my left, you're listening to the BMI Federal Credit Union halftime show. We want to thank everyone for tuning in to our broadcast. Let's look at some of the games going on in the OAC. They all were 3 o'clock tips, so they all have gone final. John Carroll pulled the upset, I guess you could call it, 86-71. They win at home over Marietta, who's now lost 2 in a row after starting 89 over lost on the road, to Baldwin Wallace 91-70, and Heidelberg lost on the road to Mount Union 82-71. So coming into this game, the home teams are 4-0 in the games in the OAC today, Elijah, and we can hope that continues through our game.
Yeah, we hope that it'll continue, and really, again, a lot of upsets, I guess you could say, going on in the OAC, but, Marietta, a team that starts out 21-0?
21-0.
And really, I don't want to say they spiraled downhill, but if they don't find a way to pull it together quickly, I mean, not that they missed the tournament necessarily, but if they don't find a way to get things going quickly, the end of their season is not going to be the way that they hoped when it started.
I think they're almost assured a spot in the tournament, but last week it looked like they were guaranteed the OAC regular season title, and now that's at least in jeopardy as they're in a tie in first place now in the conference with Mount Union, so it all depends on how things shape out the rest of the year. They could end up splitting the conference title, but right now tied for the first spot in the regular season standings.
Crazy things happening in the OAC, and wouldn't be a crazy thing here if Otterbein won, but it would definitely shake up the OAC a little bit. I don't think it'd make any drastic measure or moves in the conference, but Otterbein always looking to make some different things happen. Maybe knock Capital down a little bit in seeding-wise.
Maybe not a crazy thing if they win, but the campus certainly would go crazy. 34-32, Otterbein trailing at the halftime break. And for those of you who missed our first game of our doubleheader today, the Lady Cards lost a heartbreaker, 74-72 to Capital in a game, as we said, that they seemed like they were really always battling from behind in that game.
Yeah, they really were, and they battled back though. They were able to find their shooting in the second half, and Ann-Mariah Huck did everything in her power to get that victory, but they just came up 2 points short, courtesy of Simone Gage, who came in and hit a runner with about 3.2 seconds on the clock, and then Ann-Mariah Huck's prayer didn't go in. But it was a great basketball game, and hopefully we'll have the finish that we have here as we did in that women's game.
Hopefully just the opposite outcome.
Yeah.
With about a minute before the second half starts here on the Otterbein Sports Radio Network, it's time now for the traditional halftime trivia question, the last one here in the Reich Center this year. Otterbein and Capital have played 190 times in their history, which is the second most meetings between two Ohio schools. What two colleges have played the most times? Is it A, Miami, Cincinnati, B, Bluffton, Defiance, C, Walsh, Malone, or D, Cedarville, Shawnee State?
All right.
That is your
time to think about. What was the first option?
Miami, Cincinnati.
Okay.
So you get a Division I team, you get a Division II team, you get an NAIA school in there, and a pair of Division III teams. So it's really all across the board representing the Buckeye State. We'll give you the answer to that trivia question at the first break of the second half. Again, if you think you know the answer to the trivia question, you can tweet in at WOBN, or you can text into the program. You get it right, a free WOBN t-shirt and a shout out on air. And I know a lot of people around campus got free WOBN t-shirts this week.
Yeah, they did. It was a very, very big week for WOBN, giving out free t-shirts for Capital Week. And students came by. Actually, Trey Miller and his sister, Maddie, also won one as well. So definitely an exciting time here at the Bine, and hopefully we have an exciting finish coming your way as the Otterbein Cardinals trail by a score of 34-32 to the Capital Crusaders. Elijah Gonzalez, David Kinder here with you on the Otterbein Sports Radio Network as both student sections set to stand up and probably not sit down the rest of the game as 20 minutes are on the clock. And you hear the horn, both teams set to come out. For Capital, looks like they'll start the same way they did with A.J. Dixon, Kirk Geis, along with Andrew Bolka, Ben Danhoff, as well as Charles English. And we'll see if the Otterbein Cardinals start the same way they did. And in fact, they will. So it'll be Crum, Miller, along with Grant Fenner, Brian McKenzie, and Chase Moyer.
Yeah, let's see how long they stick with Marshall Crum out there. In that Wilmington game, they pulled him after the first minute out on the floor. Hopefully Coach Adrian decides to stick with his only senior a little longer.
So Chase Moyer will inbound here from the far sideline as he inbounds to Trey Miller, who is guarded there by Charles English. Miller bringing it across the time stripe here for Otterbein. Goes in the high post with Grant Fenner on the right elbow. Kicks it out off the fader screen to Miller on the far side wing. Now gives to Chase Moyer. Moyer penetrates, brings it back out to Brian McKenzie on the near side wing. McKenzie goes inside to Marshall Crum, who's double teamed there on the right block. Crum dribbles it back out, now has nowhere to go, gives it off to Moyer at the top of the key. 10 on the shot clock. Moyer comes off a screen, gives to Fenner at the right point. Fenner, 5 on the shot clock now, looks to penetrate, goes up right side of the rim and can't get the layup to fall. Rebound tipped around and into the hands of Guys as he pushes quickly. Guys looking to go up the floor, gets it to A.J. Dixon, open 3 near side wing, off the front rim, bounces around, goes in the hands of English. English goes to A.J. Dixon, who goes with the runner and gets it to fall. 4-point game now as the first bucket of the half goes the way of the Capital Crusaders. Daryl Miller III brings it up high on the left, guarded tightly by A.J. Dixon. Looking for somewhere to go with the basketball as he picks up his dribble, gives it to Crum, who hands it back off to Miller. Now goes to Brian McKenzie, who looks to penetrate on the far side. Goes inside to Marshall Crum, left block. Crum tried to get it to Fenner. It's taken away by A.J. Dixon, and here comes Capital. A.J. Dixon up the floor, high on the right. Now dribbles it over and gives it off to Guys on the near side wing. Now goes to Dan Hoff, who goes over to English. They go inside, right block to Bolka, guarded by Marshall Crum. Bolka goes up with the left-handed floater, and it falls.
Not a good way to start the second half for Otterbein, allowing a pair of field goals be made by Capital, including one that they missed a three-pointer and got the putback.
Miller has it now as he gives it off to Brian McKenzie on the far side wing. Top of the key now with Chase Moyer. Moyer guarded there by English. Gives it off on the near side wing to Daryl Miller III. Miller gives it to Brian McKenzie now on the near side wing. He's guarded tightly there by Dixon. He's got to pass the ball as he has 5 seconds on him. And now he comes off the screen from Marshall Crum. Looks to penetrate. Left side, goes up. No foul call, a lot of contact. Rebound goes to Bolka, and he gives it off to Dixon, who pushes quickly. Expect an Otterbein timeout to come soon as Dixon fakes a 3, now penetrates in the lane, goes up on Fenner, and gets it to go. Timeout, Coach Adrian, as he is giving the signal to the referee. And here we go, David. 8-point basketball game.
Otterbein does not look very comfortable on the offensive end. Their passing has been very strange, and they're really working the shot clock. That Capital defense is keeping them on the perimeter. They're trying to go down low with them. We've already seen a pair of turnovers on just 3 possessions, and we've talked about what a great first half Marshall played. Unfortunately, he's not the best of passers in the world, and he fed one right into the hands of Capital, and the Crusaders now have their largest lead of the game, and that is not how you wanted this second half to start.
17:43 to go here in the second half, and if Otterbein continues to play like this, it'll be a long half for the Otterbein Cardinals. But now it's time for the answer to the trivia question.
That's right, I almost forgot. Otterbein and Capital have played 190 times in their history, second most meetings between 2 Ohio schools. What 2 Ohio colleges have met the most times? Your options were A, Miami, Cincinnati, B, Bluffton, Defiant, C, Walsh, Malone, D, Cedarville, Shawnee State.
I'm going to go Miami and Cincinnati.
You're going to go with the D1 option, and most people would think that, but the correct answer is B, Bluffton Defiance.
I would never guess
The
that.
Beavers and the Yellow Jackets have played 195 times, first in 1914. Today they are members of the Heartland Conference. They've been mixed around in conferences the past few years. They are a Division III school. Unfortunately, Otterbein does not play them very often up in the northwest part of the state, 195 times. So Otterbein and Capital very close to them, but it goes to the Yellow Jackets and the Beavers.
And so, David, an 8-point basketball game, and really, you know, we mentioned the offensive rebounding for Otterbein, and 3 possessions and no offensive rebounds.
Yeah, 3 possessions, and we mentioned the turnover from Marshall and some very awkward shots from the Cardinals, and they've been forced into those shots because the shot clock has really been running down. So it'd be nice if early in the possession they could find someone down low and not have to wait till the buzzer's about to sound.
Chase Moyer inbounds from the near side baseline to Grant Fenner, and now they get it off to Daryl Miller III as he brings it up the floor for Otterbein. Looks to go across the time stripe, and now does, up high on the left, guarded by Guys. And now hands it off to Brian McKenzie, who looks to come off a screen from Fenner, turns it down, gives it back to Miller on the far side, goes inside to Marshall Crum, and another turnover for Otterbein. The story here so far in the second half, the turnovers and poor play of the Otterbein Cardinals. 17:25 on the clock as it starts to move.
Just as many as they had in the first half in the first 3 minutes of this game. 3 in each of them now.
A.J. Dixon gives it to Guys at the top of the key. Guys goes off to English on the far side, over to Danhoff at the right point, out to the left point with Guys. Guys holds there, looks to come off the screen from Bolka and does. Guarded by Marshall Crum now. Crum on the mismatch. As Guys pulls up, jumper just inside the arc, no good. Rebound grab by Brian McKenzie. And now he gives it off to Miller, who brings it across quickly. Miller looking to spin there off of A.J. Dixon. A little pushing and shoving, and a technical foul is going on both guys. A.J. Dixon along with Daryl Miller III will both get teed up.
Well, Miller must have said something because he certainly didn't do anything. He must have said something to one of the officials there, and he's got his jaw wide open. He can't believe they teched him up for that, but that was just an ugly collision between Miller and Dixon that time, and are they going to offset him, it looks like?
And Dixon's going to come out of the game and cool off a little bit here as Dixon, let me tell you, David, he was one of the guys along in with Marshall that was in that scuffle last year, so I think Coach Goodwin said, sir, I've had enough, and you're going to sit on the bench until you calm down a little bit.
And the officials were quick to try to separate those two as they were trying.
Oh, they didn't even try and separate them. They just knew that you need to calm them down, and they gave a tee both ways to make a statement.
And Phyllis is going to check into the scorers table now for Otterbein. And let's see who he replaces. And he's
Yeah,
going to replace
Miller.
So both the guys involved in the altercation are going to head to the bench and have a chance to cool it off.
So it will be Chase Moyer inbounding from the far sideline on the Otterbein side of the floor. 40-32 with 16:55 to go as the ball is inbounded to Jake Phyllis in the backcourt. Phyllis comes across the time stripe now to set up the play. Gives it off to Brian McKenzie on the far side wing. Looks to come off a screen and does. Now gives it off to Phyllis on the near side wing. Goes inside to Grant Fenner in the short corner. Fenner looks to penetrate in the middle of the lane. Kicks it out to Brian McKenzie. McKenzie comes off the screen. Hands it off to Phyllis at the top of the key. Phyllis comes off, drives with a foul. Is going to be called. It's going to be called on Charles English.
Yeah, and English just realized he was beat that time as Phyllis had a nice little pathway to the hoop that time. English just reached his arm out and grabbed him. That'll be the second of the game on English, team's first of the half.
So now Chase Moyer inbounds from the near side baseline, or sideline, excuse me, and he gives to Phyllis. Phyllis comes off another screen, lost the basketball but got it back. Gives it to Grant Fenner at the top of the key. Now gives to Brian McKenzie on the near side wing. McKenzie goes to Moyer on the near side wing. Now as he penetrates, goes up, lays it up and in. What a finish by Chase Moyer, and it's back to a 6-point game.
Moyer's first basket of the game. A nifty little play that time, jumping into the lane and getting an up and under layup.
Adam Blake with it on the near side wing, goes inside to Bolka, and he lays it up and in as he had a wide open layup and a great well-designed play there by Coach Goodwin.
I'm surprised he didn't slam it home.
As now it's given off to Chase Moyer. He comes off a screen, gives to Fenner. Fenner in the near side corner, guarded tightly, tried to get it to Brian McKenzie, almost got it stolen away. McKenzie gives it off to Fenner, near side corner, three on the way, and he knocks it down. Grant Fenner with the big shot, and it's 42-37 as Otterbein cuts it to 5.
Fenner, a really good three-point shooter when he takes them, shooting over 35% from long range this year.
They go inside now to Bolka on the left block. Kick it back out to Adam Blake. They go back inside now to Bolka as he kicks it back out to Guys. Guys goes over on the left point to English, now over on the far side wing with Adam Blake. Blake penetrating, right baseline, kicks it out. Guys thought about a three, now penetrates. Brings it back out, guarded by Brian McKenzie. 5 on the shot clock. 3 on the way, got it to go. Adam Blake with the big time shot. We're back to an 8-point game with 15:05 and counting. Jake Phyllis brings it across the time stripe, guarded by English. Gives it to Brian McKenzie at the top of the key. McKenzie gives it over to Chase Moyer on the far side wing. Moyer comes off a screen, goes inside to Marshall Crum. Crum spinning, trying to go up with a bucket, and gets it up, and Andrew Bolka is going to be called with the goaltend here as Marshall Crum, and I think he bailed him out because that ball looked like it was going to be missed by Marshall Crum.
Yeah, that ball looked like it was going to get wedged between the glass and the hoop that time and not go in, and Bolka just went up and slapped it off the backboard, and clearly goaltending. And for Marshall, he's going to be up to 15 points now.
So that's going to be 15 points for Marshall. 45-39 is the score here from the Reich Center. As bringing it up is Adam Blake, as he has it at the top of the key. He gives it off to Guys on the far side wing. Now gives it to Bolka, who goes to English, who penetrates in the lane. He goes up and gets it to roll in. Big bucket there by Charles English, and he's having himself a good game taking the ball to the hole, and it's back to an 8-point game as Phyllis comes off a screen from McEwen. Has it now on the far side wing. Now comes off another screen from McEwen. Gets it off to Chase Moyer, who's going to pull a three from the near side wing off the back rim. Rebound is grabbed by Guys. And Guys will push this one up the floor himself with 14:08 and counting. Guys hands it off to Adam Blake, who has it up near center circle. And he's guarded by Jake Phyllis. Dribbles it over now to the far side wing. Gives it to Guys at the right point. Guys guarded tightly there by Chase Moyer. Moyer getting the count, gives it to Adam Blake. Now he looks to penetrate on the near side. It's taken away by Brian McKenzie. And here comes Jake Phyllis. Phyllis pushing in transition, going up right side of the left side of the rim, and it's off his leg, out of bounds. Jake Phyllis with the turnover. That's a bad turnover there as he had a 3-on-2 and decided to take it himself. But
Yeah,
it
probably
gets stripped away.
It probably would have been better for Jake if he had slowed things down and tried to set up an offense there instead of just take it to the rack. And I'm not sure if it went off his knee from up here, but the Zebras say it did. So that'll be another Cardinal turnover. They got 4 in the half already.
So now it's Adam Blake who'll bring it across the time stripe. As he has it high on the right, gives it to Charles English at the top of the key. English guarded by Brian McKenzie. They give it off now to Oki, who's checked into the game. Oki hands it off now to Blake, who gives to Terrell Jackson. Open three is off the mark from the near side corner. Rebound grabbed by Brian McKenzie. And Jake Phillips will now bring it up across the time stripe. Phillips looks to come off a screen at the top of the key and does. Penetrates left side of the hoop. He's fouled. It's going to be before the shot. Almost ran into our cameraman down there. As 13-11 on the clock, 9-point game of 47-39 in favor of the Capital Crusaders.
Now they got Blake for the foul, his first of the game.
So now Miller inbounds to Mark McEwen, high on the left, and McEwen will dribble it over and hand it off to Brian McKenzie. McKenzie now has it at the top of the key. He gives to Grant Fenner on the near side wing. Fenner looking to go inside, instead decides to penetrate himself. He goes up left side of the rim and gets it to roll in. And we're going to have a timeout called here by head coach Todd Adrian, as it's now back to a 6-point game with 12:56 and counting here in the second half.
Something Grant Fenner did so well in that Valdo Wallace game a week ago. Really close ball game that the Cardinals lost. I believe it was 70-67 the final in that one. But Fenner, we did a really good job in that game penetrating to the basket and making his own shots and coming up with difficult layups. That's exactly what he did right there. He caught the ball near the near side wing and just cut towards the hoop, cut underneath on the from the right to left side, and come up with a huge layup for the Cardinals to cut it to a 6-point ball game.
So now, as Coach Adrian talks with his team and takes them back out onto the floor, Otterbein looking to get inspired here as 12:56 on the clock. And now Capital will inbound on the baseline on the far side of the floor.
And Andrew Bulka heading to the scorer's table. He's going to check in during the next timeout for Coach Damon Goodwin's team.
As now Adam Blake gives it high post to Danhoff, and Danhoff hands it off to Terrell Jackson. Jackson gives it far side wing to Aki. Aki picks up his dribble on the right elbow, and he almost threw it away, and it's saved by Charles English. Aki now gives it off to English, who penetrates, goes up, and that's going to be an offensive foul. Jake Phillips, who had the concussion earlier this week, decides, well, I'm going to take a charge, and he does and gets the charge.
And what a great job, because that was 5-on-4 in favor of Capital, because Miller, trying to save that ball, had fell into the crowd on the far side, so he wasn't even in the play at all. So Capital had numbers, and they still are able to come up with the charge. Great job that time by Phillips to plant his feet. Knew he was going to take a beating from a guy much bigger than him, but he gets a great play that time. Otterbein basketball.
So now Grant Fenner gets the inbound pass and hands it off to Jake Phillips, who's guarded by guys tightly in the backcourt. Phillips now bringing it across the time stripe here as we have 12:25 and counting. Phillips penetrating towards the lane, gets it tipped out of his hands, and is going to stay with Otterbein. And this is not good. Mark McEwen again with that right ankle.
Slow to get up.
Yep.
Still sitting on the ground. Now he pops up, but Marshall Crumb's going to come in and replace him. McEwen hurt himself in that BW game in the first minute of the basketball game, and now Marshall's going to be called over to the bench. So McEwen says he's going to walk it off, and now he's going to send Marshall back out there. So he's going to replace Grant Fenner. So, yeah, McEwen's going to stay out there.
Fenner's going to check out. Marshall Crumb checks in. Ben Umpleby also checked in during that time that McEwen was walking off his injury. And they give it to Umpleby on the near side wing. Dribbles it up towards the top of the key and gives it off to Trey Miller at center circle. Guarded tightly there by Adam Blake. Miller looking to come off a screen, gives it to McEwen at the left point. McEwen dribbles it over, gives it off to Phillips. Phillips picks up his dribble and gives back to McEwen. They go inside to Marshall Crum on the right block. Crum spinning, looking to kick it out. Does to Mark McEwen. Open three off the front rim. Rebound is grabbed and pulled down by Bulka, and he gives it to Blake. We'll bring it across the time stripe, and that's a big miss by Mark McEwen. As now it's Blake with it, guarded by Miller. Gives it left point to Guys, who gives it off to Aki, who puts up a three. It's off the front rim. Rebound is grabbed there by Marshall Crum. So bad shot selection by Capital. Pretty quick in the shot clock. 11:35 and counting on the clock. As Phillips looking to come off a screen at the top of the key, does. Pulls the trigger, and it's off the back rim. Rebound is grabbed there by Andrew Bolka. And now it's going to be pushed up the floor by Adam Blake. So he slows it down now. And 11:17 and counting on the clock. Guarded by Miller. Gives it off now to Andrew Bolka. Bolka gives it to Terrell Jackson, who gives over to Aki, who's guarded by Mark McEwen. Aki picks up his dribble. Nowhere to go. Gives it to Terrell Jackson on the far side wing. Jackson goes inside to Andrew Bolka. Bolka spins, goes in the lane, and it's a foul. Reach on Jake Phillips. That's not a good foul by Jake Phillips with 11 minutes to go here in this basketball game.
No, it wasn't, because Marshall Crum was actually in really good defensive position that time guarding Bolka, and Phillips just came around from the backside and kind of hit his elbow as he was going up for the shot. And Marshall Crum, as we said, in really good defensive position that time, so not a smart foul on Jake, and that's going to be Phillips' second of the game, team's second.
So now Bolka puts up the free throw. It's up and no good off the back rim. And he's shooting into Adrian's Army, and he's hearing it from Adrian's Army.
Yeah, that, and he's a pretty bad free throw shooter, just 58% coming into this game.
So now Bolka at the line, looking to put up the second free throw. It's up and short off the front rim. Rebound grab by Mark McEwen. So two missed free throws, two big missed free throws there by Andrew Bolka. As now it's Miller bringing it across the time stripe. Fakes the handoff, goes in the lane, kicks it out. Jake Phillips, who pump fakes, now penetrates left baseline. He goes up, and he didn't get the foul call. And now this one's grabbed there by Trey Miller, but he gets it stripped away from him by Adam Blake. And Blake gives it off to Guys, who gives it up to Aki. Aki with the penetration, and it's stripped away from him, but a foul now is going to be called on Trey Miller. And that's just great hustle by the Capital Crusaders. We talked about how Otterbein was getting the loose balls, and on that play, Capital got there first.
I'm not sure how that wasn't a foul on Miller cutting to the basket on the right side of the floor there.
So now they go inside to Andrew Bolka. Bolka going up on Marshall Crum, and he gets it to go. And it's now 49-41.
He leads all scorers now. He's got 16 points in the game, does Andrew Bolka.
So now they inbound it to Mark McEwen, who's going to decide to put it on the floor with his right hand and hand it off to Jake Phillips. Phillips now comes off of the screen from Mark McEwen and comes across the time stripe. Phillips guarded by Guys. Still being guarded by Guys as he's trying to shake him. Phillips now gives it off into the near side corner to Miller, who goes into the right block to Marshall Crum. Crum double team there and brings it back out to Jake Phillips. Phillips goes with the pull-up jumper from the near side wing, gets it to go. Big shot by one of your star players in Jake Phillips, and it's now a 6-point game, and Phillips has brought his total back up now to 10 as they give it off to Bolka, who gives top of the key, and now it's with Aki on the left point. Looking to go into the inside to Andrew Bolka, guarded there by Marshall Crum with the fadeaway. It's no good. Rebound grab by Crum, and he gives it over to Daryl Miller III. Miller brings it across the time stripe, has it high on the left. Setting up a play now as he gives his team the signal. Gives it over to Jake Phillips in the near side corner. He penetrates baseline, and a blocking foul is going to be called on Kurt Guys. That's going to be his second foul, I believe. We'll see, it might be his first.
Good job by Jake that time, just running along the baseline, and he's able to force Capital into a mistake that time, and it is going to be the second of the game on Guys and team 6th.
So now checking in is Charles English. Also checking in is Grant Fenner. And A.J. Dixon as well checked into the game. So Dixon guarding Miller again. We'll see if that escalates to anything.
And Crum comes out of the game in favor of Fenner, so he's going to have a seat on the bench with 15 points.
So now they inbound to Mark McEwen on the near side wing as he hands it off to Trey Miller. Miller guarded tightly there by Dixon. Miller comes off a screen from Mark McEwen. Now looking to go to Mark McEwen at the top of the key, and does. McEwen dribbles over now to the near side, or to the far side wing, as he hands off to Christian Meister, who's checked into the game. Meister goes inside to Mark McEwen, left block. McEwen backing down Andrew Bolka, looking to kick it out. Has nowhere to go with it. Now gets it off to Trey Miller. 3 on the way from Miller, near side wing off the front rib. Rebound grab by Bolka, and he's going to give it to A.J. Dixon. 8:44 and counting, and a timeout is going to be called by Coach Goodwin. So the clock stops at 8:43. 49-43, the Otterbein Cardinals trail.
Been just as exciting second half here as it was in the first half, albeit a little more slanted to Capital. And as we said, Otterbein really hasn't been turning it over too much, but compared to how well they were handling the ball in the first half, it seems like it's been much more than a problem than it actually is. But Andrew Bolka has really dominated this second half so far, Elijah. He's had his will down low with Otterbein. He's got 16 points so far in the game to lead all scorers to go along with the 8 rebounds he also has. So Otterbein is going to have to try to match him down low with some size, and we've seen Coach Adrian be hesitant to use too much of Marshall Crum, whether that be because of the eye injury we saw Crum sustain or whatever the reason it is. And we also saw Mark McEwen come up a little bit gimpy, again holding that right knee that he injured in that BW game. So hopefully Crum and McEwen both good to go, because Otterbein's going to need him down low to defend Balka.
8:43 on the clock here on the Otterbein Sports Radio Network. And a reminder to stay tuned for the Ohio Health postgame show, as we'll have head coach Todd Adrian join us here on the program.
Last time we'll be in the Reich Center this year.
Last time, yep. As now the Otterbein Cardinals still huddled up. Coach Goodwin still talking it over with his team, as it was Coach Goodwin who took the timeout. And really, David, this could go one of two ways for the Cardinals. They could make a comeback here, or Capital could blow this one out of the water.
And unfortunately, history favors the Capital blowing out Otterbein side of that argument, because Otterbein really has not come from behind and battled back into any game at all this year. Their 3 wins they've basically had the lead the entire game, albeit they're very close games. They had the lead the whole time and just held on. None of them have they had to battle their way from behind to do it, although they were close in that BW game.
So now they inbound to A.J. Dixon, who dribbles it over to the far side wing, as he now has it at the top of the key. Hands off to English on the near side wing. English comes off a screen, looks to go inside and kicks it back out to Aki, who gives it off to A.J. Dixon. He penetrates left side of the rim, goes up, got his shot blocked, and a foul called on Trey Miller.
Wow.
And that is, wow.
A late foul, too.
Very late. And it looked like Fenner got the most of the ball.
If you're going to call that foul, I imagine it would be on Fenner, not on Miller, who looked like he made a tremendous play on the ball.
And not only is the foul on Miller,
it's his 4th.
That's his 4th personal. So we'll see if Coach Adrian keeps him in the basketball game. As the free throw by A.J. Dixon is up and rolls in off the front rim. 8:28, and it's now 50-43.
Yeah, Miller, I think, is going to head out, and Phyllis is going to have to replace him with 4 fouls now. That's huge, having one of your best ball handlers having to sit on the bench with foul trouble.
The second one is up and good, and it's now back to an 8-point game. As Jake Phyllis checks into the game, Trey Miller checks out. Umpleby also checking in as he inbounds on the far side to Jake Phyllis, who will now bring it across the time stripe as he's guarded tightly in the backcourt by Charles English. Gets it across the time stripe now. And he's still guarded tightly, gives it off to Fenner on the left point. Fenner now looking to go inside. Instead, he's going to have to hand it back off to Jake Phyllis. Phyllis comes off a screen, looks to penetrate, goes with the step back. Oh, a nice pass down low to Ben Umpleby, and he puts in his 6th point of the game. Phyllis jumped up in the air like he was going to shoot it, and then threw the pass down low to Umpleby. Yeah. Great look by Jake Phyllis.
Yeah, confused the entire Capital defense that time. Fortunately for Otterbein, Umpleby wasn't confused, and he was ready for the pass and the putback on the right side of the rim.
Confused me as well up here in the radio booth, as English now has it top of the key, gives off to Terrell Jackson on the far side. They go inside now to Bolka. He gets it stripped away by Grant Fenner. Fenner looking to go up the floor, and he's fouled, and that's a bad play there by Grant Fenner as well, as he didn't even look up the floor. He had Ben Umpleby wide open for a layup.
Yeah, Fenner was so concerned with trying to dribble down the floor and come up with a layup. He did. Umpleby was streaking down the left side of the floor, and if Fenner just looked up for a second, he would have saw Umpleby all by himself, and Umpleby would have had another easy layup.
So Grant Fenner will head to the charity stripe.
His first time here on the line today. He's got 7 points, though, in the game.
Guys checks in for Terrell Jackson as he will check out of the game. Dan Hoff will also check in for Aki. As Grant Fenner will head to the charity stripe. Puts up the free throw. It's off the back rim, no good. That's a big miss. And they throw it away. English threw it away. Phyllis is fouled as he goes to the rim, and he'll head to the charity stripe. And we'll see if he can have more success than Grant Fenner did there. And Fenner has not had the best of games for the Otterbein Cardinals. He's 3 of 9, 0 of 1 from the free throw line, and has 7 points. Jake Phyllis looking to add to his total of 10 as he'll head to the charity stripe.
Yeah, Phyllis's first time at the line as well. His first is up, and it's good. And free throws have really hurt Otterbein in this game, Elijah. They've missed some very clutch ones, but what a job by Phyllis to play like a secondary in football that time. Read the eyes of whoever was inbounding and just intercepted that pass.
So now Phyllis at the line. Knocks it down. Big shot by Jake Phyllis, and we're up to a 4-point game. As with 7:34 and counting, it's starting to get tense here in the Reich Center as Adam Blake brings it across the time stripe high on the left, guarded by Christian Meister. Gives it off top of the key to Guys. Guys now gives it over far side wing to A.J. Dixon. Dixon now gives to Danahoff, and he hands it back off to Dixon. Now they give it to Guys on the far side. Back to Dixon at the left point. 3 on the way. Short off the front rim. Tipped around. Rebound in the hands of Christian Meister. Meister will dribble it up the floor and give it to Jake Phillips across the time stripe as he has it high on the right. Phillips gives it to Mark McEwen at the top of the key. Now over to Ben Umpleby on the far side wing. Goes inside now to Grant Fenner in the short corner. Fenner guarded by Danhoff. Fenner looking to penetrate. Kicks it back out to Meister. Pump fakes a 3. Now comes off his screen. Gives to McEwen. Pump fakes a 3 at the top of the key. He penetrates in the lane. Goes up. He's fouled. He'll head to the charity stripe. McEwen couldn't get the and one to fall, but he will head to the charity stripe.
Now that play was set up by the pump fake from Mark McEwen at the top of the key. He fooled Capital into thinking he was going to take that three-pointer. They bid on it. He drives down the right side of the lane, and he's able to get the foul, and he's going to go to the charity stripe. So far today, McEwen has not been to the line. He's only got 3 points as well, Elijah. Just 1 for 5 from the field is Mark McEwen, but he can make up for it right here.
McEwen at the charity stripe puts it up. It rolls around and out. That ball just rolled around for a good solid minute.
The definition of in and then out.
6:45 to go. Still has a chance to make it a one-possession game, however, if he can knock down this free throw. And Umpleby checks out. Brian McKenzie checks back in. And that's a substitution that really today has been a good one, as Brian McKenzie checks in and Mark McEwen misses the second free throw. Mark McEwen misses both, and we're still at a 4-point game as Capital brings it across the time stripe. They have it. It's Adam Blake who has nowhere to go with it. Goes inside to Bolka, who's guarded there by Mark McEwen, who just missed the free throws. Bolka looks to penetrate, kicks it back out now to A.J. Dixon. Dixon looking to step back for the jumper, now kicks it back out to Adam Blake at the right point. Blake into Danhoff. Gives it back to Blake. Open 3, left point, yeah. Got it to go, and it's now back up to 54-47 as Grant Fenner has it now in the far side corner. Gives it to Brian McKenzie at the left point. McKenzie gives it to Christian Meister at the right point. Meister holds there, guarded by A.J. Dixon. Hands it off now to Brian McKenzie, who hands it off to Jake Phillips, and he'll bring it out and look for something here offensively. Phillips gives it to Grant Fenner in the high post. Fenner, guarded by Danhoff. Hands it off to Christian Meister. He goes with the pull-up jumper. Is good! Christian Meister with the big bucket there. And it's now back to a 5-point game.
Meister's first basket of the game. He was 0 for 2 from the field before that. Couldn't come at a bigger time for the sophomore out of Grove City.
A.J. Dixon has it on the near side wing. He gives it to Adam Blake at the top of the key. Blake guarded tightly there by Meister. Now they give it to A.J. Dixon. 3 on the way, off the back rim. Tipped around, rebound goes into the hands of Fenner. Stripped away from him by Guys, and a timeout was called. What a play there. What a play there by Kurt Guys. And that got the fans fired up as they thought Grant Fenner was fouled, but Fenner just got that ball clean ripped out of his hands.
Yeah, that's disappointing right there. As Fenner looked like he had it, and then just, like you said, ripped right out of his hands. And then even more impressive, Capital, the awareness to get the timeout there with 5:22 to go here in the ball game, trailing by 5 points are the Otterbein Cardinals. And I think it's safe to say they really need to stop here, Elijah. They need to try to get back into this game, make it a one-possession game, something it hasn't been for a couple minutes now.
Well, Capital will have the basketball, however, out of this timeout.
With almost a fresh shot clock,
yeah,
too.
32 seconds are on the shot clock. 5:22 to go in this basketball game. And it's been a good one. If you've missed it, here from the Reich Center, the Otterbein Cardinals trail 54-49, looking for their second win of the season against their longtime rival, the Capital Crusaders, as Adam Blake will inbound it from the near side baseline as he looks to inbound. Gets it into Bolko, who's guarded there by Marshall Crump. They kick it back out now, and on the far side with it is Guys, who brings it back to Adam Blake. Blake has it at the top of the key. Looking for a screen from Bolka, comes off of it, gives it to A.J. Dixon. He comes off a screen from Danhoff, penetrates in the lane, goes up, lays it up, no good. Rebound grabbed by Brian McKenzie. Gives it off to Jake Phillips, who brings it across the time stripe. Phillips looking to penetrate to the left side. Stopped there by Adam Blake, and he brings it back out to Christian Meister. 4:53 and counting as they give it to Brian McKenzie on the near side wing. McKenzie penetrates in the lane. He goes up, he's fouled, foul charge. Another poor decision by Otterbein as Brian McKenzie penetrated in the lane and just bowled over Kurt Guys there. And Otterbein just not making the proper decisions here late.
Yeah, I thought that missed layup from Terrell Jackson on the left side might have been some momentum Otterbein could take down the floor on that offensive possession, but not a good series of events for Otterbein.
Now it's Adam Blake pushing quickly. He goes inside Andrew Bulk, who lays it up, foul and one. And one here for Andrew Bulk as he's fouled by Jake Phillips. That's who they're going to get it on. And David, it looked promising for Otterbein when they brought it back within 3, but here we go again. The carousel has gone around, and Otterbein on the wrong end of it.
Bulk of 4 for 6 from the line so far today. 16 points. He leads all scorers in this game.
So the free throw from Andrew Bulk is up and off the back rim. No good. Rebound grab there by Christian Meister.
I think you can credit the student section with the miss that time.
Hands it off now to Jake Phillips. Guarded there by Kurt Guys. Phillips gives it to Marshall Crum at the left point. Crum now gives it to Meister at the right. Meister looking to come off a screen from Fenner. Does. Pulls the trigger. 3 on the way, and it's off the back rim. No good. Rebound is grabbed there by Guys. Another poor shot selection.
Yeah, not a good shot selection at all. There was a hand in Meister's face and a whole lot of time left on the shot clock to try to work it down low.
56-49 the score here from the Reich Center as Adam Blake gives it off to A.J. Dixon at the right point. Dixon guarded there by Meister. Now gives it off to Kurt Guys at the left point. Guys with it now. Guarded by Brian McKenzie. Comes off a screen. Now looks to penetrate in the lane. Goes with the turnaround fadeaway jumper off the front rim. Rebound grab by Meister. And he'll give it off to Jake Phillips. Smart decision there by Meister not to push in transition. And Phillips threw it away. Here comes Kurt Guys. He gets it up the floor to Adam Blake. Blake goes up with the layup, and it's good. Back up to an 9-point game, I should say. 58-49, 3:29 and counting on the clock. Coach Adrian not taking a timeout, as now Jake Phillips comes off a screen, gives it to Meister on the near side wing. 3:20 and counting on the clock. Meister looking to go and penetrate, but can't. And picks up his dribble. Timeout, Coach Adrian. So they waste time off the shot clock and now take the timeout with 18 seconds on the shot clock and 3:15 on the game clock.
That's a confusing decision. If you're going to take the timeout, Coach Adrian, I don't know why you wouldn't do it much earlier in the possession. Like you said, you limit yourself now with how much time you have to operate down there. And Otterbein's shot selection, in the second half has been anything but excellent. A whole lot of contested shots early in the shot clock when they have a chance to try to work it down low. Marshall Crum has only attempted 1 shot here in the second half from the floor, and he's shot 5 of 6 from the field, so they haven't really tried to work it too much to Marshall in the post.
Well, a guy we haven't even seen in this basketball game that played really well against Wilmington, Aaron Malley. Hasn't even touched the floor in this basketball game. And again, Otterbein trails here by 9. We'll have Coach Adrian up here in the booth with us after what is looking to shape out.
Malley still in his warm-ups down there, and he played pretty well, as you said, in that Wilmington and BW game. He'd come in relief of both Finner or Crum whenever they needed a rest, and he'd play pretty well, along with Troy Phelps, 2 guys we haven't seen at all in this basketball game today. We said the final time from the right from 2015. Hopefully Otterbein can work some magic down the stretch, and we can end the home season on a high note.
Well, they're going to have to really work some magic, as there is 3:15 to go. It is a 9-point basketball game. As you hear the Cardinal Pep Band in the background there. Done a great job all year at the home games. Really brought a energy that really the Reich Center was lacking all season.
That's really nice to do it, and you've seen a lot of other OAC schools have started copying it. Wilmington had one last Wednesday, albeit a very small one, but they had one. BW had one. John Carroll for a long time now has had one, so it's brought a nice energy to the Reich Center that we've missed in the past 2 years since I've been here.
And Capital looking to solidify a better seed in the OAC tournament than they have right now, as it'll be Chase Moyer looking inbound from the near sideline, as he'll inbound it for Otterbein. Gets it to Marshall. Well, it's stolen away by A.J. Dixon, and that's a good way to start out of the timeout, is with a turnover, as Adam Blake brings it across the time stripe, and he has it on the near side wing, guarded by Trey Miller. Gives it off to A.J. Dixon at the top of the key. Now gives it over far side wing with Guys. Guys now gives it to Adam Blake. Goes to Dan Hoff at the right point. Gives it back to Blake at the top of the key. They go to Guys now on the left point. Guys comes off a screen. Looks to penetrate. Kicks it back out. A.J. Dixon. 6 on the shot clock. Pulls up. Jumper. Yes. 60-49 the score here from the Reich Center.
Yeah, you might need a 3-pointer here if you're Otterbein, or at least some sort of basket.
I think just a basket would be good, considering they haven't had one in a while. As Grant Fenner shoots a 3 from the top of the key, it's off the back rim. Rebound grab there by Kurt Guys and hands it off to Adam Blake. And you got to think this game not far from over, as now it's Adam Blake with it as he has it on the far side wing. Blake still dribbling around with it. Has it now at the top of the key. Guarded there by Trey Miller. Looking to come off a screen now and does. Got it stripped away from him. Tipped up the floor to Grant Fenner. He's going to go look to lay it up and in, and well, nope, it's off his foot. A turnover by Grant Fenner, and now Capital will get possession back after Fenner got the steal, but then turns it right back over with 2 minutes to go. Inbounding it now is A.J. Dixon as he inbounds over on the far side to Kurt Guys, and he gives it to Danhoff, who brings it across the time stripe. They give it off to A.J. Dixon now, and they'll pull it back out. They will go as slow as possible here. Up at center circle is A.J. Dixon with 1:45 and counting on the clock. Capital fans know they got a victory in hand. The Otterbein fans know they're going home again with another L. As now it's A.J. Dixon who has it on the near side wing with 10 seconds on the shot clock. Waiting for something to happen instead. Comes off a screen on his own. Penetrates, kicks it out. Open jumper, yes. Kurt Guys with the jumper. And now it's a 62-49 game as Trey Miller running the offense here for Otterbein. With 1:15 and counting, he kicks it out. Chase Moyer open three, near side corner, yes. And a timeout going to take by Coach Adrian. It's a 10-point game. You hear the "I believe that we will win" chant over here on the Capital side. The Otterbein side, dead silent as they've been all season.
Yeah, if the score holds up, pretty disappointing way to end the home season of what's been a disappointing basketball season all around for Otterbein. And you see some fans starting to leave the Reich Center now, and you can only hope for the build for the future for Otterbein. I know we've heard it a lot this season, but a lot of guys coming back with the exception of Marshall Crum, the only senior on the team. Hopefully everyone's coming back. Hopefully no one decides not to pursue to further their basketball career next year. And a whole lot of talent coming back for Otterbein, and you hope they can build from that. But this game looking like it's over, and a disappointing way to end the homeless stand.
62-52 the score here at the Reich Center. We'll have head coach Todd Adrian join us on the Ohio post-game show at the conclusion of this basketball game.
Now our last game here at the Reich, and we can look forward now to games at Fishball Field as baseball season right around the corner. Starting February 25th with a game in Chillicothe at Mount St. Joseph. And then a few days after that, I'll get on a plane and with the team, and we'll go down to Florida and have a whole lot of fun in the Sunshine State, and you can hear all those games right here on WOBN.
Although for those listeners that are banking on that February 25th game, the probability that it gets played is probably a 90% chance that it doesn't. So,
in all fairness, it is a turf field down in Chillicothe at VA Memorial Stadium, so there's a chance, but yeah, those early season games that are scheduled don't get played for obvious reasons because of the weather here in Ohio.
Well, if it looks like it is today, I highly doubt it'll get played as there was a nice snowstorm that occurred here today in Ohio. As now inbounding is Adam Blake, running the baseline, gives it off to Kurt Guys on the far side in the backcourt, and he's just going to hold it still in the backcourt, gets it across the time stripe, fouled by Jake Phillips, so he'll head to the charity stripe.
Now, Phillips tried to foul him 3 times before that, and the referees didn't call it once.
And Jake Phillips will pick up his second personal foul of the game. And always disappointing to see your team lose, especially at home for these Cardinal fans, as they had so much hype and so much promise going into this basketball game, hoping that they could sweep Capital, but it's not going to be that way as Kurt Guys knocks down the free throw to make it a 11-point game.
And here comes the "Let's Play Football" chant, always popular among losers who won in the football contest, as Otterbein did beat Capital in football.
The second one is up and no good. Grab by Grant Fenner, and he gives it to Trey Miller. So now it is Trey Miller with it near center circle. Comes off his screen, looks to penetrate, kicks it back out to Grant Fenner at the top of the key. Fenner guarded tightly there, gives it to Jake Phillips, who comes off the screen. Pulls the jumper off the step back 3, it's no good. Rebound grab by Andrew Bolka. 40 seconds on the clock, 30 on the shot clock, and this should do it. As they're gonna have to take one more shot here as the shot clock winds down, but after that, Otterbein will not foul. They give it to A.J. Dixon now, who's guarded by Chase Moyer up at center circle. 10 seconds on the shot clock. Dixon comes off the screen, penetrates in the lane, kicks it out. Open three on the way from Adam Blake. No good. Tipped around, rebound grabbed by Trey Miller, and he pushes up the floor. Miller now going to kick it to Chase Moyer. Far side wing three on the way. Yes, it's good. 4.1 seconds. They inbound, and that is going to do it. The clock runs out here at the Reich Center, and the Otterbein Cardinals are yet again losers of this basketball game. 63-55 as they fall to Damon Goodwin and the Capital Crusaders. We'll take a break here on the Otterbein Sports Radio Network, but when we come back, we'll have full coverage for you of final stats and analysis and interview with head coach Todd Adrian. You're listening to Otterbein Basketball on WOBN 97.5 The Wild Card.
Hi, I'm LeVar Burton, and I'm proud to be a book person. How do I choose a book? Sometimes it's the cover, sometimes it's the title. I guess I'm pretty visual. If a book's really impressing me and the writing is really good, I will peek and see what the last paragraph is, because the endings of books should rock you. I am a book person, and if you're a book person too, read to a child and spark a lifetime of ambition. Join me at bookpeopleunite.org, because reading is fundamental. A public service announcement brought to you by Reading is Fundamental, Library of Congress, and the Ad Council.
Hey Cardinal fans, Otterbein Athletics on the Radio is brought to you in part by Westerville Automotive. Serving the Westerville area for 20 years, they have 2 locations on Westerville Road and in the Uptown area, just seconds away from Otterbein on Main Street. They're on the web at westervilleautomotive.com. You can follow them on Facebook at Westerville Automotive Uptown or call them at 614-890-6700. That's Westerville Automotive.
This is head coach Todd Adrian, and you're listening to Cardinal Basketball on 97.5 WOBN Westerville, your source of Otterbein athletics.
There be many pirates that sail these 7 seas. Barbossa, Blackbeard, Jack Sparrow. But there be only one pirate you need care about. The MC DJ MC. Every Thursday from 8 to 10, he sails for Pirate Radio on WOBN, playing everything you want to hear on your college radio station, The Wild Card.
Fewer than 5 out of 100 people give blood. Ever wonder why they do it?
It's the one thing that we can do that we can always afford to do, and hey, you get a snack afterwards, so.
Snacks are great. I had never knew my blood type, and I found out in doing this that I'm O negative, so there's that added pressure knowing that everyone can use my blood at any time, and so I feel like it's my responsibility.
It's a little extra bragging power, too, knowing that you're a universal giver.
Yeah, I'm pretty special.
Call 1-800-RED-CROSS or visit redcrossblood.org to make an appointment today.
I'm Drew Brees, and being a dad means the world to me. And one of the most important things any parent can do is make sure their kids get active at least 60 minutes each day. Studies show that physical activity not only helps kids stay healthy, it can enhance important skills like concentration and problem solving, which can improve academic performance. This means physical activity can help your kids in the most important game of all, life. Learn more at fitness.gov.
Brought to you by HHS.
Welcome you back to the Reich Center as fans start to pour out here in Westerville, Ohio. David Kinder along with Elijah Gonzalez and the Otterbein Cardinals fall and have to swallow a bitter pill as they lose to their longtime rival 63-55. Otterbein's going to fall to 2-14 in league play, 3-20 overall. Capital, they're going to get their 5th conference win overall. They have 11 losses, and overall they'll be 7-16 on the season.